Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio Nights. That's right. I am your host, Ryan Knightstein. With me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend. Taking off my glasses so I can see him better, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing? It's a Ring Post Radio Nights. We're up against a show I'm sure no one's watching in about an hour, but that's fine. We're going to get all the audience to stick around till the full show because we have a jam-packed show for you. Scotty, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It was kind of nasty to play that song though with The Rock and Cody showing like that. I don't know why it just seemed really mean watching.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. It's just like something about
sadder?
The song with the photo. I was like, man, it's kind of sad.
It would have been better if I was slowly zooming into Cody's face.
Yeah. You should have got the other one where he's like just staring at him, and all you see is his face in the back of The Rock's head. That one's also very sad. That's my favorite one.
I was looking for that one actually. I was honestly looking for that one. Instead, I got the hug.
It's okay. It's okay. Adrenaline in my soul. Ring Post Radio Nights is here to roll.
Oh,
come on.
My guy, he's a poet, and I think he did know it. Yeah, we got a jam-packed show for you tonight here, folks. And we appreciate you for sticking around. Obviously, we didn't do a show this morning if you're watching the live stream, but we're doing a show now because a lot of the things we're talking about took place at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So we figured it would give us and everybody else a little bit of time to catch up and watch some goddamn, I would say, Scotty, honestly, some great wrestling this weekend. Yeah. This weekend was really great, I gotta say.
I'll toss Collision into there as well. I had a good 24 hours of watching wrestling, which is nice. You know, it's kind of what I like to do as a wrestling fan is watch good wrestling. I know sometimes we unfortunately have to talk about different things, but hopefully if you are listening to this show, whether it be live or post, hopefully we can send you the right way for some exciting wrestling from this weekend.
Exactly right. Great wrestling all weekend long. Honestly, I think I had, looking at my match guide, I think I had maybe 3 or 4 4+ star matches.
Good time.
Yeah, it was a real good time. So I hope everyone was able to catch some great wrestling. We got a lot to get to for tonight's show. We're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite, a little bit of preview for that show, a jam-packed show, and maybe what is the potentiality of Tony Khan's announcement. I think everyone has an idea. We're going to talk about Noah crossover. Noah had a show this morning. Stardom had a show this morning. Stardom Supreme Fight, their 13th anniversary show. We're going to talk about next week's New Japan New Beginning in Osaka. Jam-packed. Four great matches, honestly, and a couple other great matches, really good matches as well. We're going to talk about The Rock in 2 different facets, but of course, we have to continue with the biggest news story of the wrestling world, and that is, of course, Vince McMahon and the WWE. And this week, I think, got a turn for the interesting. As more of the fallout from the allegations towards Vince McMahon unfurled. Obviously, last week we had I thought a really good episode, a really, really great episode diving into everything about the lawsuit and our feelings about it. But this week we got a lot of fallout about it, a lot of discussions about it, and just a lot of other different comments from various different people. And of course, when we get to The Rock, maybe not just comments from other people, but maybe some coups potentially happening. But
you smell what The Rock is cooking?
What he's cooking is a poison soup dish for one Triple H to enjoy one night. You never know.
Oh well.
But yeah, we got a good show. Let's get into the Vince McMahon stuff. Nonetheless, I actually no. You know what I want to do first? I want to do an old segment that I started about like a week or 2 ago. I think it was longer than a week or 2 ago. We don't have a name for it. I'm just going to say it's the YouTube clip episodes comment section. That's the name. It's chunky. It's bad.
It's
But
bad. Oh, good.
but just like any of my segments, they're half baked. So let's get through some of these comments here, Scotty, and there might be a reason I'm bringing some of these up. So some comments here for we had from basically these are comments from last week's episodes that we're kind of talking about. So I'm gonna bring up some of them here for us today. This one is from @Hero619. Reheat Chad Gable and have him beat Gunther at Mania. No more comedy, just a serious Gable, then have Gunther beat Rollins after Mania. That was something you kind of talked about of reheating up Chad Gable a little bit.
Boy, was I wrong.
doesn't quite seem like that's going that way of Chad Gable, but well, I guess it remains to be seen.
Pop, sorry, good comment. The Rocket.
Oh, that's the same hero. That's the same hero that I'm reading the comment of.
This I don't know why this is. I saw it, had to share it because The Rock can kick rocks made me laugh. Thank you for that.
Another comment live from Hero. What are the odds? What are the odds that we're reading your comments as we're doing it? From @Connor Houston 2613. Totally agree, Scott. Kenosuke would be better off wrestling in Japan. He could be really used well and have very good matches. Preferably New Japan. He would have been good there, in my opinion. He's only 28 years old and could have been a really big help to them, especially now. However, All Japan would be fine as well, because that's when we were sort of talking about how Kenosuke and All Japan ruled, and that'd honestly be a really good spot for him. And it'd be a company that could really use someone like a Takeshita. Got a lot of other different questions and comments. And we'll bring up this one because I think this is the one.
I know you have this idea. You brought this back for one reason only, and I'm sure this comment's going to be it.
Well, I have two comments actually, but let's get to it. So this is from the WWE timeline, the Vince McMahon allegations clip from last week. We didn't really talk about this aspect, so I'm going to bring up this question @Dave3. Why is anyone surprised about this, even in the slightest? We didn't really talk about if we were surprised at all, and I'll disagree slightly with this comment and say that I was definitely surprised by the Vince McMahon allegations because of how viscerally jarring and troubling they were.
Yeah,
I think the better word instead of surprise was, like, am I? What's a better word? Am I like sort of? Did I expect it? Is it like? Is it shocking at all? Not really. Like, I'm surprised by the allegations and what they were, but I'm not really that shocked that Vince McMahon would do something like that. Were you at all surprised about Vince McMahon allegations?
I am not surprised about Vince McMahon having allegations against him. I am surprised at just this latest, the big one.
The big one. Yeah.
Every time you read more in that lawsuit, it's just like shock and horror that you just, I don't know, for me, maybe because this is the way I think, I just sit there and I don't think a human being could do that. Like, I don't think a human being would go to that depth, but it is Vince McMahon. He is a awful human. So I guess in that respect, I shouldn't be surprised, but I definitely was, just because it's like, this guy ran WWE for 40 years. And again, I said this last week, I'll say it again. What else is out there that we don't know about?
Here's a comment. Here's the comment that I wanted to bring up. A comment that aggravates me. Not going to read the username or anything. It frustrates me. And it's because I want to bring this up because it's part of the fallout, I think, of these Vince McMahon allegations and WWE allegations and everything. Is that you sort of get this response as well. This is from someone in our comment section from this clip. So she had no problem going to work and going along with these alleged acts. She accepted the money and only had an issue when she got cut. That makes her just as guilty. I don't even know what to say to that, Scotty. It's so aggravating and frustrating to see comments like that. And then I think we saw a lot of that in sort of this fallout.
We saw a lot of bad this week from fans.
Yeah. People reacting like, he didn't do nothing wrong. I don't know why I'm doing this accent. I feel like that might be offensive. But
like way too Larry David with that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's Fernando in the chat. What the fuck? Yeah, I know. I agree.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I think that's an insane comment to make.
That's
And
awful.
people went back and forth, not back and forth, but people went in on this guy on the comment section as ready. So I'm not, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna leave it there. But the idea of number one, I don't think she, by all accounts, not going along with it. We talked about it last week about how there were several moments in the suit where it seems like she's not necessarily trying to get out because she doesn't know how to get out. Because many people in the situation
Sure.
don't know how to get out of
Yeah.
these sort of situations. But additionally, like there's moments in the suit where she's not trying to necessarily get out, but she is trying to like delay it and trying to figure out. Jeff Buchenhagen, that's such a horrible take. Colin Matthew, that comment is just ignorant as fuck. I agree, folks. I agree. I wanted to bring it up because that's what we're dealing with this past week, and we continue to deal with stuff like that. I'm glad that people agree with me that comment is insane, Scotty. Do you have any thoughts on that comment from a very, I'm sure, kind, thoughtful listener, maybe listener of the show?
They don't deserve my attention.
Fair enough.
Sadly.
Let's talk about the Vince McMahon lawsuit. So we got a lot of different news items that have come out. Jeff Buchenheim, I want to add to this as well. Or they fear for the lives because of the power someone has over them. A great point. That leads us straight into Janelle Grant's attorney said this week, spoke with Ann Callis on News Nation Now, said, quote, WWE has a, quote, culture of corruption that has, quote, permeated every cell of WWE. Some big time lofty words. It's been a long process, and Grant wants to speak out for any other victims and eradicate the culture of corruption that's permeated every cell of the WWE. My office and in my inbox, I've had a barrage of people wanting to come forward to test about this culture of corruption and also possible victims. We are just beginning now to wade through all of this, but we're frankly overwhelmed. She goes on more. Janelle Grant's attorney, her name is, I don't actually know what her name is. Oh no, the lawyer's name is Ann Callis. My apologies. The lawyer's name is Ann Callis. But yes, that there was that, and there was like another comment sort of regards about this overwhelming response and her lawyer's email box. Again, this is the lawyer that presumably the same lawyer that might have sent an email to WWE in March of 2022 and definitely got responded back to about said email, according to the lawsuit. What are your thoughts about this? There seems to maybe be some traction into moving into a class action lawsuit. There was also additional discussions about the NDA, and if it doesn't apply with Grant, then it won't apply to anybody else because of how the NDA came about in regards to WWE. How do you feel about Janelle Grant's lawyer Ann Callis's comments?
There is it's hard to look at something like this and like think of the positives, obviously, like the allegations themselves. But the good has been Vince McMahon is no longer in power. The good is that more people are now speaking and feel a little bit more comfortable to do so. Right?
I should say, not just speaking, but at the very least, well, we don't know how many people or who is
Right.
speaking, but at the very least, potentially speaking through legal channels
Yeah.
that might lead to, bigger stories like this.
And even that, it's obviously that's going to be very important as this story continues to unfold. But there's even just wrestlers from the past in WWE speaking out about it now as well, which again, it shows like them having to wait for so long to do this, how much fear people that worked for this company had to live with. And I think that maybe is obviously, besides the allegations, is one of the more major parts of this is like everyone seemingly worked in this company with fear, and that's awful. Like no one should have to go to work and have fear in their hearts of speaking out or saying no to something or right? Like, even if it's the wrestlers and not wanting to go on television and do something, that is something that's slowly, obviously, coming out as well now. There's been a lot this week, right? There's been a lot with the Laurinaitis case, or the Laurinaitis aspect of this as well. But what Grant and company have done is open things up now, and it's just gonna hopefully it means that the people that took part in this, not just Vince McMahon, because this isn't just Vince McMahon, pay for this. That's the most important part right now.
I don't think I could have said that better myself, Scotty. I think you're completely right that hopefully this leads to something bigger and something more, not just against Vince McMahon, but obviously against John Laurinaitis, and the WWE. Now, a very fascinating wrinkle about this suit that is unveiled this past week is the John Laurinaitis part of it, folks. The lawyer for John Laurinaitis spoke, saying, let me see if I can get the full quote here. Quote, this is from, what's his name? Edward Brennan is the new lawyer for John Laurinaitis, saying, quote, Mr. Laurinaitis denies the allegations in the misguided complaint and will be vigorously defending these charges in court, not the media. That's not a shock. Like the plaintiff, this is the shocking part. Like the plaintiff, Mr. Laurinaitis is a victim in this case, not a predator. The truth will come out. He continues saying that read the allegations, read the federal statute, power control, employment, supervisory capacity, dictatorial sexual demands with repercussions if not met. Count how many times in the complaint Vince exerts control over both of them. Now, obviously, John Laurinaitis is a named defendant of this case, of Miss Grant's case against him, Vince McMahon, and the WWE. That's why we're trying to extend the conversation from not just Vince, but to others. But a very new wrinkle of this is the lawyer saying that John Laurinaitis is a victim. Scotty, what was your sort of reaction to that quote? Because that is a shockwave of a quote to me.
No part of me read this and thought John Laurinaitis is a victim in this, because he still took part. From what he even said, obviously, like, I do not like John Laurinaitis. Like, never have, never will. And to me, you if you go and you read about what was going on during this time, especially in his life, it just gets all the more worse. And the fact that he was willing to call himself a victim when there's someone like Janelle Grant here, you know, not being able to live a normal life anymore, that's disgusting to me, right? Like, and he and by the way, one of the other big things of all this is that we are now watching in real time these awful humans start to cannibalize each other publicly.
Yeah.
That is what they are doing. We are going to watch John Laurinaitis throw Vince McMahon under the bus. I'm sure we're going to watch Vince McMahon throw John Laurinaitis under the bus, and whoever else may be involved. We don't know who else, but these are the two main people that were named, right?
Yeah.
It's going to get ugly, and I don't know what's next. Like, that's the whole thing about this, is we don't know what's next. Like, there's just something new seemingly every few days.
Yeah.
And what we do know is WWE is pretty much going out of their way to somehow rid him from their history, which is in him being Vince McMahon, which is impossible, by the way. That you can't rid him from the history of a company that he created. You can do your best, but like they can't just be like, oh yeah, no one won the Royal Rumble in whatever year he won. Like, this is far more than that. And there's a lot of people that are going to have to, and this is why I keep again, reminding us this isn't just a Vince McMahon issue. This is a WWE issue.
Yeah.
There's still so many people that need to receive their repercussions of what they did and what they were involved in here. And I believe it was BJ Bethel on SE Scoops that had a very good like a editorial article. Like it was his own thoughts, but he's been covering for 20 years. It's a really good read if anyone wants to read. Let me just double check that was who it was, but I definitely recommend anyone read it because I think, yeah, BJ Bethel. It kind of just gives like a good idea of someone who's covered this for a long time and what they think about the whole mess. And it's like, I just remember one of the lines is like, Triple H is gone. Nick Khan's gone. Like all these people need to be gone. And it's because a lot of these people knew something one way or another, right? And that alone is bad. It's really bad.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway from this, I have a couple takeaways, is number one, he obviously, the lawyer is going to deny the allegations. Obviously, that's not a shock in any imagination. But by basically, what they basically said is that, you know, dictatorial sexual demands of repercussions have not met. That is a quote from here. Whether or not they deny the allegations Grant has towards Laurinaitis, they are still insinuating that sexual encounters and demands were at play during this lawsuit, which ultimately is proving the broad truths of this lawsuit to be true, the broad ideas of this lawsuit to be a little factual, which is not great for Vince McMahon and for the WWE. Obviously, he isn't more about Vince McMahon than the WWE itself, but it's not helping that. And I think if you go from there, I wonder if, and I'm not an expert at all, I'm not a lawyer, we're both not lawyers, but I wonder at all if this is sort of a nod, a sort of a tip of the cap, if you will, to one lawyer to another of, hey, you know, we might be willing to take some sort of deal and go on the stand, let's say, if it ever went to that far, have John Laurinaitis speak about what Vince McMahon forced him to do. Let's just say John Laurinaitis is telling the truth. Would he be willing to go on the stand and speak out against Vince and what Vince has done to get some sort of deal with the plaintiff? I don't know. I don't know if that's even how law works. But I think that's an interesting idea. I think it's at least like he is trying to save his own ass, obviously. And I wonder if he would be willing to do that. And some part of this reads to me like he might be willing to do that. What does he have to lose?
It's all about essentially saving themselves at this point moving forward. And that's what we're going to see between these two, obviously Vince and Laurinaitis. But again, as more people potentially are named, that's what it's going to all be about. And I think Laurinaitis' comments, or was it his comments specifically, or was it a statement?
This is from the lawyer. This is
okay. So
John Laurinaitis'
the
lawyer, Edward
Laurinaitis collective here. What I noticed the most here is that the loyalty in this business means nothing. And I hope they all suffer, these two especially, because they do not deserve to be walking the streets. You know, they don't for what they did, and what there is more. And what they've done, let's go to hell. Just go to hell.
I agree with that. Question from Colin here. Colin Matthew, do you think TKO will clean house when all is said and done? I'll respond with this, Colin. Next news item. Netflix content chief on Vince McMahon WWE allegations. Quote, let me see if I get the quote. He's gone, so he's not there. He's gone. So do I think that TKO will clean house? No, Vince is gone. So what's the need for cleaning house? According to Netflix, they're still going to be able to get their deals and everything. So what's the point, right?
I think they're going to have to clean a little bit more house than we know of.
It's not, the story's not going away. So I think that's
right.
that's part of it.
It's going to be one of those situations where it's almost like they're going to have to be forced, and like comments by like Netflix is certainly not going to help, right? In any way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's comments like that where it's like, where it's like, oh yeah, we're basically still okay with the contract and we're still going to do all this stuff because Vince.
Yeah.
It's very obvious that both Netflix sees, and we don't know what we haven't seen any sort of comments from like NBC Universal or Warner Brothers of CW about this and any of those TV contracts. I'm sure people have asked, but there's been no statement from any of those companies. But Netflix seems okay with it. And that's extremely frustrating to see. What the story hasn't gone away, so what more can be done? At this point, it's a matter of the WWE cover-up side of it. And that's something that still needs to be proven. And that's something that still needs more evidence, at least in the public view. We talked about it last week about that timeline of like, they obviously knew stuff. Triple H obviously knew things. People asked Shawn Michaels a bunch of questions about it, and he wasn't necessarily in the room.
Shawn Michaels handled it a lot better than the guy that called the shots in WWE today.
I fully agree to that. Fully agree that. Yeah, Nick Khan was asked very minimally about it, but not really great questions and sort of praising. Well, not only like sort of praising Vince McMahon at a weird time to do so, but also like talking about how like, oh yeah, we didn't really think he was going to fully retire. And that's like kind of contradictory to SEC filings that WWE made when he was obviously co-CEO at that point. So that's going to be a little, if anyone wanted to bring that up, that would be a weird question to bring up to the SEC.
You're absolutely correct. Thinking.
Yeah, Vankin Bjorn, God knows what Vince was doing in the 80s and 90s. Brother, we have some ideas of what he was doing in the 80s and 90s. Look up Rita Chatterton, look up the Ring Boy scandal, look up, I don't mean to laugh, but like there's a laundry list here. And this is like the worst. I don't even want to say worst because they're all bad. But this is the most egregious, maybe worst story of it all, of all of his
that we know
about.
Can't stress that enough. That we know about at this stage. Right?
To answer Colin's question more better, what do you think TKO will clean house when all it's said and done? I don't necessarily know what said and done means to TKO. Like
I think this is going to take years.
The story continues. What? Let's say right now it looks like Triple H is in the hot seat, right?
You would think so.
He feels the most in the hot seat right now, but he is not on the board. He is
out of the big names, obviously.
Yeah, he's not on the board. He's just creative. A lot of people that are still on the board.
That means he's expendable.
That's a great point. A lot of the people that I think this only really affects are the WWE cover-up side of things. Legitimately, let's be honest here. I think the only people that really affects are the 2 or 3 people on the board that worked in WWE at the time, on the board, knew about all this stuff as it was happening, got that email, go through that timeline that we talked about earlier, up against today. Jeff brings up the point, we talked about this last week, Hunter was on the board when they got the email originally. Agreed. He's now on the WWE TKO board currently, but because for some reason he got shafted in that regard, but he obviously was on the board in that process. He's in the current hot seat because obviously he got questions and gave shitty answers about. Is there anyone else on the board that this would affect? Like we're talking about, what does a clean house mean? Triple H is gone. Nick Khan is gone. how far is Nick Khan go? I don't remember who the other names on the TKO board that once previously were, but I think it's 2 to 3 people. But are those people gone? Are there higher ups like, let's say, a Bruce Pritchard? Is he gone? You know, these sort of things. What would and that's the thing also is like Bruce Pritchard I don't think is going to be gone because I don't see what aspect he has in terms of a WWE cover up. It's just at the top level here, really. It's just these board members and only like 3 or 4 of them still exist in the company. And one of them Nick Khan, one of them's Triple H, and a couple other ones are actually on the board. I guess I just don't know is like we still have to prove the cover up aspect of it all, right? And I don't know how long that's going to take unless this goes to trial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's.
I feel like I made a bunch of word salad because I don't really have an answer here.
I think they're going to get rid of who's expendable and do their best to keep people that they feel are important to the infrastructure moving forward, right? And we've kind of started to see this through just news bits, I think, right? With the Rock stuff, even like. It almost feels like, people are seeing writing on the wall, perhaps in certain scenarios, and they're trying to figure out the answers before they need the answers, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I would love to think they clean house. I really would.
No, me too.
But I'm not sure. I do think that Triple H of anyone is in maybe the hottest water that's still with the company just because like of how people have connected the dots, but I don't know.
But like that's
ultimately, I still don't know who employee number 1 is and number 4 and so on and so forth.
We have
don't know
evidence
who that is.
there. We have conjectures. We have theories
Right.
about
if Kevin Dunn was still in this company, yeah, he would be gone. Like, right? He was Vince's right-hand man. Like I can connect dots after a while here. He's already gone though, so
yeah, and I guess that's another point is that like Kevin Dunn leaving is also suspicious. I mean, him leaving, his timing during all of this was like a week or 2 right before the lawsuit dropped. That was very interesting timing. Yeah, I'm sort of in the mindset of how does Brock, someone who asked it, Connor Houston, how does Brock Lesnar fit in this? Again, like he's not specifically named in the suit as in like as a defendant, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and the WWE in terms of the cover up. Brock Lesnar, as soon as it blows over, he can come back, right? That's the truth. That's the reality. That's the sad reality of all this. As soon as WWE feels like they can make money with him again, he'll be back. He's older, so I don't know necessarily if that was going to be the case. Bruce Pritchard, he's not a board member. He's definitely a right-hand man to Vince, but in theory, there's no way, I don't necessarily think, unless we get a true like text message or something about this where it showed that somehow Bruce is involved from a non-board level. I don't really know. I mean, certainly Bruce Pritchard was a guy that Vince McMahon was showing these pictures to. I think we can all probably agree with that. I don't know. That's just a theory, allegedly. But I think allegedly, I'm going to assume Bruce Pritchard was probably one of the guys looking at these pictures. But unless he is somehow part of this cover-up, which as he non-board member, I don't know how he could be. I just don't know how far-reaching this goes. We talk about Triple H in the hot seat. Does it feel like Nick Khan has any part of this hot seat right now? It feels like he is totally fine and walking out of this unscathed. And he was the board member and co-CEO during the actual investigation in 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when originally stuff came out, I never thought of what he would or how much he'd be involved, just because he wasn't with the company when things started, if I remember correctly. But I don't know how much he knew. So
yeah, when did Nick Khan officially join the WWE? Because he was obviously involved helping their SmackDown Fox deal. But when did he officially join WWE? 2020 So when he officially joined, August of 2020. So he was around
for a lot of it.
He was around, yeah, he was around for a lot of it. He definitely knew about it. But that was at the time he was a chief revenue officer. I don't know exactly a president and chief revenue officer. I don't know exactly when he joins the board. I don't know how to necessarily even look up. I guess I have to look up old SEC filings, but we'll have to figure that one out. There's a good question. Jeff Buchenhagen writes, Stephanie was on the board. That is a reminder that Stephanie's on the board, but she's gone for the company, so I don't necessarily know how aspect that is. But I wanted to bring up this comment, Scotty, because it goes back to what I said about John Laurinaitis. Is there anyone else you want to get on to a trial, onto the stand that I would find fascinating? Would be Stephanie McMahon. That is someone, if this went to trial, I would be fascinated to see. She is no longer on the board. She is no longer involved with WWE. If they fire her husband, Triple H, obviously, maybe she'd have more of an interest in doing something like this. But she could easily flip on her father. I feel like there's a reason to suspect that. I don't know. I feel like Stephanie could flip on her father, and you know, her and John Laurinaitis maybe flip on Vince McMahon and put all of this heat onto him, because she's obviously on the board. She can prove a lot of the email discussions, a lot of this idea. She could certainly help the case. You know what I mean? Jeff Buchenhagen also says chief revenue officer means he could have known the hush money and where it came from. All this hush money and stuff would have been happening while chief revenue officer is looking at the books. That's a great point. He is another person, but no one seems to be pointing fingers at him right now, and that's frustrating. So it's all very interesting. There was another report that came out that Vince McMahon is officially under federal investigation for these sexual assault allegations. A federal search warrant and subpoena was served to Vince McMahon last July. Was part of an ongoing investigation. Wall Street Journal first reported the news Friday morning that he was officially under federal investigation. Of course, it being a sex trafficking case, crossing straight lines, that becomes a federal offense. So it gets to that point of a federal investigation. What could that mean? I don't know. But again, we're talking about cleaning house of TKO, how far reaching it goes. Federal investigation is under just Vince McMahon right now, seemingly. Is it under John Laurinaitis? Is it under the WWE as a company? I don't know for certain, but right now all I know is that it's Vince McMahon. I don't know. These questions.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about all of this stuff? Still bad? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to feel about it, I think. And I think one of my other problems is that it's kind of been bogged down now amongst people talking about WWE because of wrestling reasons, like actual wrestling reasons, which is just insane to me. Ultimately, like we can talk about the wrestling side of things with this company, and we're about to. But this should still be the top conversation point because there's still a lot of bad, as I keep referencing, right? There's still a lot of bad going on here. And hopefully, I like to think that the right thing will happen eventually in all this, and the people that had wrongdoing will be taken out of their positions and so on and so forth. But I don't know. I do not know. And that's part of the reason why the conversation can't go away, because you pressure a company enough and more comes out, and you just kind of got to hope at this point. Like as fans of the industry, if you're a fan of this company, the wrestling side, obviously, then your voice won't unfortunately be enough to make TKO do something.
Multi-billion-dollar corporation.
But just keep bringing up the problems, because enough of these other outlets that can do something will take notice.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the part there where you said that, sort of the conversation changing and needing to continue asking questions. I'll say through the
There's a hashtag going around for a wrestler, which Like, if we're gonna talk about the
We're
wrestling
talking about
side
it
of
now.
this,
I'm doing that transition right now, baby. Let's
yeah,
talk
go
about
ahead.
it. No,
ahead.
I'm the conspiracy theorist right now that this whole hashtag we want Cody, we want Rock stuff is a full-on booking distraction campaign happening
You've
right
seen a
now.
hashtag We Want Rock?
Well, we want Rocky. Apologies. We want Rocky.
Oh,
But
I haven't
yes.
seen either one, to be fair. But
Literally,
okay.
did you see the report from Fightful Select? I believe it was today.
I work for them, so yeah.
Perfect answer. This is from that same report. One WWE source said, quote, in regards to the We Want Cody, We Want Rock tweet storm over the weekend, quote, well, this is preferable to the coverage of Vince McMahon, but that's not going away either. At least with this, there can be peaks and valleys, and some sane people can justify it. With the coverage we were getting last week, it was all negative. From a PR perspective, I mean, that's fair. It was all negative. That's totally true. This sentiment echoed by many, with one person saying, quote, maybe the company prefers to appear inept than malicious by proxy of Vince. Obviously, I think in terms of, Cody Rock happening and everything that happened on SmackDown, obviously I think that was planned, and I think that booking decision was part of this whole idea. But I think the sort of PR tweet storm that it's sort of turning into, part of it feels like they're leaning into, and they would rather have this sort of become the new conversation than what has previously been the conversation.
Obviously, because they're gonna benefit if they put Cody into the match or whatever match. Like, that's what happens. They watched it happen with Daniel Bryan. They're using that same mindset to turn this into something to, one, take the attention off the awful thing that is happening that happened within their company and is still unfolding. And they're putting it all on The Rock and kind of using him and him getting the match as the scapegoat of it all. Shout out Jack Perry one time. Sorry, I had to. And it's like I haven't tweeted a single thing about this. I haven't tweeted a single thing about Cody and Rock because, like, if it's in Wrestling Story and the way they did it, yeah, it is stupid as hell. Like, the way they did it, I watched the segment. It's dumb. It is a terribly done segment. It is bad. It makes Cody look awful. You know what? I still want to finish my story, and I have to beat you and take everything from you, but not at WrestleMania. I rather do it after you have another match where you can lose the title. I rather do it some other time. Like that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It's almost, they're using The Rock and Cody as two people to get the bad light off of them. And that's crazy to me because they know that these top outlets are going to be like, oh, it's Roman and The Rock. The Rock's returning to the ring. So that's going to get them excited.
Obviously.
And then the fans that have been making noise about the Vince stuff and all that, they have switched focus to hashtag We Want Cody. And it's just like, it's worked just like they wanted. It has.
It has. It's certainly distracting people, and I'm sure,
like, it's hard.
I'm sure
for
8
me.
minutes when Vengeance Day goes live, they're going to maybe lean into it some more.
We gotta whoop that trick, baby. Like, it is hard for me to read all these stories that are coming out about The Rock and potentially wanting to take power and stuff, because it's just like, it's just not the most important thing that's happening in with this company right now. It's not.
No, I mean, we'll talk about a little
It
bit.
is juicy though. I'll give them that. It is juicy.
It's a juicy tidbit, but that's obviously why we kicked off our show not talking about The Rock at WrestleMania, not talking about We Want Cody, not talking about the behind the scenes of what's happening with The Rock, but talking about Vince McMahon, because it's the most important thing to talk about right now. And the fact that it seemingly has become this sort of distraction move online is so aggravating for me to watch, because people are going to fall into it easily. People are going to fall into that trap easily. And I don't blame people for falling into that trap, Scotty, because guess what? It sucks to talk about the Vince stuff. It sucks to think about the Vince and WWE stuff. I don't want to talk about all the stuff, but it's important to talk about the stuff. That's why we kicked off our show with talking about it. It's important.
They are switching. They're altering the face of the WWE, and we're seeing it in real time from Vince McMahon, to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That is what they're doing in real time.
Which I also wonder whether or not that was timed quite well with the
Hell yeah, it was. Dave said, Dave Meltzer, obviously, for those who I don't know may get that confused.
Rock for some reason.
He said that they've had Rock locked in since like the beginning of January, but they wanted to announce it with the Netflix deal. I think there's a little more behind it.
The Netflix deal that was also announced, what was it, a day before the Vince stuff?
A day or two, yeah. It was beginning of the week. Vince stuff was end of the week. So, yeah.
I don't know, folks. Ask questions. Ask questions. Yeah, it just feels like real big distraction territory and frustrating to watch people.
And it's working.
Because it's working. Yeah, so, I mean, let's talk about The Rock.
They got Ricochet and Logan Paul tweeting, "We want Cody." If you don't like if you don't see this is all on purpose, like at this point, you know, no wrestler. Logan Paul is different, but no wrestler is going to speak out against the company all of a sudden because Cody isn't in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah,
like come on, guys. They said nothing about the Vince stuff, but Cody's on the Royal. Oh my god!
Why would Ricochet care, folks? Who cares? What? He's not doing anything right now. He's going to be on the Battle Royal.
Do you think Cody promised him a world title match?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. What does Logan Paul care about this?
But now I will switch my thought process to what is happening in the story, and I will acknowledge it that way rather than just this is the way of kind of, hey, look over here, over here. We ruined your main event.
Because while it is a distraction, it is an important topic to be had. We seemingly have the main event of WrestleMania figured out, and that's The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Obviously, they've been hinting at it for a little bit. Surprise, surprise. It might be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. How do you feel about that being the main event of WrestleMania? Do you think Cody will find a way to get in? Will it be a triple threat? Will it be full-on Miracle on 34th Street? He wins an opening match against somebody and then
win an opening match. He won the damn Royal Rumble.
I know, I agree. But how does Cody get involved in this? Does he get involved in this? Probably not, because he outright said he's not going to be challenging in WrestleMania. He's going to challenge somewhere else. I have an idea where that someone else is, Scotty. But where are your thoughts on Rock versus Roman? And is that what you want?
What are my thoughts? No, I don't want Rock versus Roman. I couldn't care less about that. Are you kidding me? I have long been a Cody Rhodes fan. I have said this on this show many times. Now I'm not like gonna start crying or anything that he's not in the main event, because ultimately, like I've said my thoughts on WWE. I'm not that invested. I'm invested enough because I was very happy when Cody won the Royal Rumble. I said it last week, but that's the biggest problem. He won the Royal Rumble, so it makes him look like an idiot. An absolute moron.
Scrub territory over here of Cody Rhodes.
Like, it'd be one thing if he loses the Rumble and they don't put him in the Elimination Chamber match to get to Roman, right? Sure. Whatever. Because you have someone on the men's side or on the Raw side win the Royal Rumble, challenge Seth. That means they have to have the Elimination Chamber for the SmackDown match. In our minds here, remember, we are playing to common sense in a wrestling story, which is, difficult for this company, but play with me for a little bit. That would have just been fine, but it's the way they've done it, and they've clearly done it on purpose. And listen, once CM Punk got hurt, I was like, there's no way The Rock's not going to be on this show now. I was like, and if you read the Fightful report, maybe the PW Insider report, one of them, the original ones, by the way. They said like some people just thought this was happening anyways. Like it didn't matter if Cody won the Rumble or not. Like
Yeah.
if The Rock wants it, The Rock's going to get it.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's kind of how I felt.
The Rock has teased this idea way longer than Cody winning the Rumble and everything.
And The Rock isn't gonna wrestle at Saudi. Like that's not
what we maybe imagined last week when we talked about
right. Like if you think about it, he wants to be on the biggest stage this company has. That's the only place he's wrestling. That's
one of the teases he gave about was talking about on college football, game day special thing. He talked about like facing Roman specifically in Philadelphia and wrestling in Philadelphia. And that was like a month or two ago. So it was always WrestleMania. It was always Philadelphia. But I'm glad you brought up Saudi because Scotty, you pitched last week the idea of Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania and The Rock at Saudi because, hey, that's money, baby.
I was literally just trying to get rid of The Rock. I'm not
sure.
But and because WWE wants more money, they can get.
But now we have this idea, Scotty, right? That Cody has officially said that he doesn't want to face WrestleMania. He's giving that spot to The Rock.
Yeah.
What would be another big show? Hey, not that one. What would be another big show that Cody Rhodes could wrestle Roman Reigns at for the World Championship?
Whatever the next Saudi show is.
Exactly.
I don't know what it's called. I don't know when it is.
Crown Jewel or something?
Sure.
But in May, let's say, the next one we talked
about.
Night of
Champions? Is that what it was last year?
Yeah, it was Night of Champions last year. They could certainly go something with that. But this idea of what if the WrestleMania show is The Rock versus Roman? Let's say Roman wins. He beats The Rock, which makes sense. That feels like a good end cap to the whole bloodline storyline. He goes into Saudi Arabia and loses the title to Cody there. That is the bigger show, the one that makes more money than WrestleMania and all these things.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the idea. It's Cody versus Roman at Saudi.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. My main thing is Saudi ain't paying extra money to get that match. They could care less, I'm sure. If it was The Rock, they'd pay more money. But you're right in that, like, where would the next stop be? It's just dumb. None of it clicks for me. Like the best case scenario, if you need to have The Rock on WrestleMania, which they're going to, they've shown him, that's not changing.
Yeah, he's on. This is happening.
Is he main events night one? And then you can they nuked, destroyed, ended the World Heavyweight Championship. As far as I'm concerned, Cody and Seth can wrestle on night 1 too, and then in the main event of the next night, they can just combine the belts again. Because as far as I'm concerned, as long as if Cody's the WWE champion, that belt's going to be around. The belt that wasn't around will be around. And he can do both shows. This guy's the worker, right? He's the top star of the company, except when they don't want him to be. Like
it would be an interesting show titled Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia if the guy that beat Seth Rollins and the guy that beat The Rock at WrestleMania night 1 and night 2 faced each other.
See, I think it should all happen in the WrestleMania bubble, but I understand that's probably not going to happen, so that's very possible. I think PW Insider said like one of the ideas maybe they do at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why? Is that beat Hogan's record?
That's a great question. We have to look at the Hogan record.
Because if that beats Hogan's record, then that's when it's happening.
That is a great point. We have to. No, I don't want to go to WWE Wikipedia. No, I want to go to Wikipedia WWE title. Okay, here we go. Reigns.
Here we go.
Here we go. Not Roman Reigns.
Here we go.
That pops me so much. Okay, so where the heck is Roman Reigns? He is at 671 days at champion right now, right? That am I mistaken? Or is it the Universal title? Which one is the one that matters that has the longer reign? Probably the
The
Universal.
Universal title was won first.
Oh God! So how do we even count? What's the
I will tell you how long Roman's had that.
Okay, please, because I got no clue.
Roman is at 1,254 days.
1,254 days. What is Hulk Hogan at? 1,474. Would you say 1,474 minus what? He deleted the tab immediately.
1254.
1254. 220 days from now.
Math with Ring Post Radio, baby.
What is 220 days from today? Let's see, folks. Well, obviously you don't know.
I know.
September 12th.
Oh shit! It's after SummerSlam. Okay. Oh no! No!
Unless they push SummerSlam back.
Oh, there it is. It's gonna be at the Saudi Arabia show at the end of the year. There you go.
Isn't that November typically?
I don't know.
I guess it still could be that actually. Is at the end of the year.
Oh my god! What a mess.
He would have to win it. He'd have to hold till, what did I say? September 12th or something?
Can you imagine?
It's a Thursday.
Roman Reigns keep the belt until September.
It's plausible.
Whatever.
He's
gotten this far.
Yeah, he's gotten this far at this point.
What's another 220 days?
I think what's happening here is I think fully it's The Rock versus Roman in WrestleMania. I fully believe that's happening. Cody, I don't know what is happening with him. But
Cody and Seth has rocked before, but Seth doesn't have a knee, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think they're in a weird balancing act with Cody Rhodes right now. I think they're probably going to have Cody challenge Seth.
Woo. And he should challenge Gunther.
Now we're talking, baby.
Here's my pitch.
Real world champion right there.
You want to hear my pitch? That's kind of stupid, but I'm all in on it. Because we're already in stupid territory. Can't get worse, right? Mm-hmm. He beats Gunther, and they uses option C that doesn't exist.
TNA's option C,
and then we're there. I don't know. This is stupid.
Yeah, I think it's The Rock and WrestleMania. I think Cody is probably going to be the Saudi show. I don't know honestly if they do. I really don't like the idea of combining titles, by the way, especially since they just created a new one last year. I really don't think they're going to do that. Which then, if going with my theory, if that's the case, then Cody, I think, is going to challenge Seth Rollins and lose like an idiot scrub.
That's even worse. Can I ask you a more serious question?
Sure.
Do you care about any of this? Like, do you legitimately care about The Rock challenging Roman Reigns at WrestleMania?
I care as much as I care about the WWE and their story.
So you don't care?
I'm interested. I'll be honest. I'm one of the few people that is like, I'm willing to see The Rock against Roman Reigns. I think Roman's going to win, and it's not going to matter.
Absolutely. Anyone that thinks The Rock's winning, that is.
I don't think The Rock's winning.
Not for a second. I don't. No.
Yeah, I think that's not happening. I think it's fully. I'm okay with The Rock versus Roman. Would I prefer? Now but I'm also the guy of like, man, so much of this would have been solved if Cody won the title last year. We wouldn't be.
Most of this would have been solved if Cody just went heel in AEW too. But here we are.
This year's WrestleMania would have been solved if they did the right booking decision last year. And this year is all about fixing and working around the booking mistake of last year.
Oh my God. You know what's going to happen?
What's that?
Cody's going to win the world title. And they're going to try to act like that's a big deal.
From Seth.
And they're just going to have Damian Priest cash in.
That's what I've always assumed. I thought if The Rock was even around, I thought it was going to be Cody versus WrestleMania. Cody versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. He wins it, and like the next night, maybe he has one defense or two on a pay-per-view.
There's no way you thought Damian Priest was winning the WWE Championship.
Fully
thought he was cashing in on Punk and Rollins.
No, I thought that he was going to cash in on Cody.
That's crazy. They would never
I
give
fully
the
think
title.
that the idea is that he's going to cash in on Cody because of the constant connection that Cody and rivalry that Cody had with the Judgment Day and kind of it being centered around Damian Priest as well. And that whole idea. I think it's all to set up the idea of eventually Damian Priest going on that road. Do I like it? Do I think it's a good idea? No.
I will put a lot of money on Damian Priest never winning the WWE Championship. The world title? Oh, that's fair game. Roman told me that belt means nothing. Roman, by the way, I just want to say before we move on, if we're moving on, I have no idea if we're moving on. I don't really care anymore. But also the whole thing of like Rock trying to take over creative, very entertaining. But Roman was the best part of that entire segment because he absolutely destroyed Seth in every way, shape, or form. He mocked him for not getting a pop. He mocked him for holding a championship that doesn't matter. He mocked anyone making that decision. He destroyed everyone. And when I watched that promo, I said to myself, that's why Roman Reigns has been champion for 1,254 days.
Yeah. And I think here's my idea with that, right? I think that WWE has this idea of wanting to make Seth's title feel more important. And I think the idea is that they want Roman to dunk on the belt so that when Cody picks it, it makes that belt feel more important because that's what Cody is going after, right? I think that's what's happening is this idea of Cody is going after that belt because that matters more. But that's also not the case because Cody said that he's going after Roman and doing all this stuff. So actually take that all out because that's not what's happening. What's happening is that Cody's facing Roman at a different date that isn't WrestleMania. So then it's all about where do we go from there. I don't know, man. The whole thing is kind of dumb, and it's still a little too early to really discuss fully at length about the whole idea. But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous for sure. Do we want to talk at all about The Rock and that creative process that you sort of talked about? That sort of he's implementing his own writer.
Brian Gerwitz is coming back of all people.
So one source confirmed to PW
he tweeted
Insider
about it today.
Oh, he did. Quote, that former senior vice president of development at Johnson's $7 Productions company, Brian Gerwitz, will be in the mix as the voice representing Johnson in the WWE creative process going forward. There are some who believe Gerwitz who at one point was one of the longest tenured WWE head writers, will be around physically at least for major shows going forward. Could even be there as plan B if Endeavor ever needs to pivot to WWE's direction and go with Johnson back creative team down the line. Brian, obviously, he was a head writer for WWE for many years, 1999 till I think it was 2015. So he's been around for a very long time in an era of WWE that I would not describe as the most creative. 1999, 2015. I don't think that was the most.
2005, not 2015.
2005? Okay, good. Well, even then, I don't think that's the most creative time period. That's sort of the WCW invasion as well is happening there. And
let me see.
But it's certainly something. It's certainly.
Oh, no, you might be right. Sorry.
I think it was 2015. I
did not know he lasted that long. I feel like I've heard about his name and not being employed for the longest time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, it's not the most interesting. It's like, tail end of the Attitude Era, going into WCW Invasion, going into the PG era. Not the best time for the WWE, I would say.
Go read his book.
Slowly losing WWE television viewers year by year. Yes, he was there for the fall of ECW, says Jeff Bugenhagen. Yeah, the fall of ECW and bring in ECW television under WWE ECW. So he obviously is a guy that I think he's been very outspoken about anti-PG era. So maybe that's something with The Rock on the board. But, that's up to these companies. And I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think they'll be able to sell changing it to not PG at the moment. So I don't know, man. I don't know. How do I feel about that? Do I think it's a coup? I don't really know. I don't think. I think Brian Gerwitz is going to be the most The Rock is involved. If The Rock had to get more involved with WWE, he would have to give up acting. I don't think he's giving up acting. I think this is just the most he's going to be involved, even with Vince and Triple H and all these guys, clean house or whatever. I don't think he's going to be like the new Triple H. I don't think he's booking it. I think Brian is probably going to be the next big time booker, probably. I don't think The Rock's having that big of a hand here. But it's interesting at the very least. Do you have any thoughts on The Rock getting a voice in the room?
Let it play out.
It's also interesting that he's getting a voice in the room on the on the road to WrestleMania for his main event title match. Of course,
it's like Brock having Heyman.
Yeah,
right. For the longest time, like Heyman would be his essential writer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's how I look at it for now. When The Rock doesn't want anything to do with the actual wrestling part of this in 3 months, we'll see what it's like.
I fully agree with that. All right, we got a bunch of. It feels like it's better on the loop. I gotta say, it's way better on the loop. When it's just the one go, it's not as good.
Well, sorry.
That's a pile. No worries. We got a bunch of other stuff to talk about, some reviews and previews.
Things that I really want to talk about.
Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. They have a jam-packed show out of nowhere this upcoming Wednesday, Phoenix, Arizona. We don't really talk about AEW that often, but we're definitely talking about it here because there's a lot of stuff on this card and a lot of interesting stuff circling this card that it intrigues us to no end. We have on this.
Do you want
card,
to think of a name for this show since they don't have a special name for it?
Oh no! Here's a great question. Jeff Bugenhagen, in all, not all caps, but in all honesty, Stardom.
That's not a question.
That's not a question. But do we switch to Stardom via what our fans want, our listeners want to listen to?
That's fine.
Let's talk about
Stardom.
Let's talk about Stardom. Let's be kind to our listeners.
Let's talk about Stardom a lot this week, so fine.
We'll get started. There we go. So there you go, Jeff. Happy about that. Because of that, Jeff, you got to join the Patreon. That's what we got to do. Patreon.com/CatOutPod.
All right.
Stardom 13th anniversary Supreme.
See, the pitch was you should listen to Stardom Road. That was the pitch. It was part of your network, and you didn't do it.
That's your pitch. My pitch is to move people.
It's your network. You could have done it too.
Yeah, that's also fair. God. Stardom 13th anniversary Supreme Fight obviously happened this morning. In Osaka, Japan. 1377 in attendance for this show. I thought this was a very good show. I would say at least one great match that I really enjoyed. Actually, no, two great matches. I think I went 4 on at least 2 of these matches. What did you think about the show overall, Scotty?
I thought it was a great show. Felt like where Stardom was at the end of 20. Yeah, Jeff. Thank you. It felt like where it was in 2022 and 2021 in terms of like the makeup of the show, the importance of matches on the show, the performances on the show, and like actual matches that were built up for this show, and them delivering. And shouldn't be a surprise when they had the time to make these matches matter. The biggest problem last year, besides injuries and all the other nonsense that came with it, the biggest problem last year was that it just never felt like any match had a full-on story behind it. Everything felt built for this. Everything, not everything hit to the highest of notes, but it didn't need to, because you had a lot of good to great matches, and ultimately at the end of the night, like, I was very happy with what happened, and that's really all I'm looking for at this stage. Like, when I watch these other wrestling companies, obviously Stardom's the top company I cover, but when I'm watching like these other shows and other companies, like, that's what I'm looking for. That's why I watch wrestling. I'm looking to leave a show satisfied and like happy with what happened. And this had that up and down the card. So this is great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the show. This was a Stardom show that I feel like it was like the first show in a while where it was like I was invested going in, and coming out of it, I
Yeah.
was like, that was good. I enjoyed that. I followed what was happening and everything. A lot of the shows last year were just like things that happened. It felt
Right.
like.
You could easily not have any clue how we got there. Right.
Mhm.
Like previewing last year, I remember because I would do full on previews, be like, oh, this is a really cool match. And like if you look back at their history from like 4 years ago, it makes sense, right? It's like stuff like that. None of it was recent. And
Yeah.
that was a big problem. Plus the injuries at the end of last
Yeah.
year and so
Plus,
forth.
it felt like a lot of the previews were just like, well, we're having this match because a bunch of people are injured. That's why this match is happening. Well,
Right.
let's talk about the show. We'll start off with let's start off at the top of the show. The World of Stardom title match. Your main event, Micah defeats Saya Kamatani in 21 minutes and 36 seconds. What do you think about the match? Your main event, Scotty.
Oh, I thought Micah needed to get a strong first defense under her belt, and I think that's what she did. So this show, this I'm not saying this show suffered because it did not suffer. It was a very good show. But everyone had to catch up to what happened earlier in the night, in my opinion, which was the high speed title match. And I think
Yeah.
that's not anyone's fault. Right? Like these two had a great main event title match. They had a great main event title match. Saya and Micah, I think they have such great chemistry. I think they absolutely delivered. But everyone's going to be talking about the high speed title match,
Yeah.
and it for rightfully so. Um, but this was the defense that I thought Micah needed, and I think she got exactly what she needed. Now it's off right now. Like winning the title is one thing, having a reign to remember is another. We saw that with Julie. We saw that with Tam. They didn't
Mhm.
have reigns to remember. Micah's already off to a better start.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're fully right that this was just a solid first defense. There was nothing I truly walked away from that I was like, that ruled or that was awesome. Because I think you're right. It was also, I would say, the shadow of the high speed title match, but also I think a little bit of the shadow of the 8-man that I thought was
Yeah.
really great. This was a sort of a weird spot that it got put into, but it didn't matter because all it had to be was just a solid defense for Micah. This is Micah's first chance of really proving herself as a world champion in this company. I think she had a solid defense. I think she had a great match. I thought Sai Kamatani did really well too. Sai Kamatani, I don't think is at the level of where she was for me 2 years ago, I guess, at this point. Right? About 2 years ago, I guess, at this point, because I'm not really going to count last year at all. But she's still there. I think right now she's slotted as she can be a really good challenger for the world title. I think she did a great job here.
My this will be an interesting experience for me from here on out because I don't know if it's Saya. I think it's Micah's style that they're wrestling now. When Saya was champion, they're wrestling her match style, and this is
That's
a big
fair.
Stardom thing. Now they wrestle the champions match style, and I think that'll be a big thing for me moving forward.
Mhm.
Is what is Micah's, because for Micah, it's a lot of like the epic.
Yep.
And I think Saya's matches were far more than just an epic. Like they were going, 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 going.
Yeah.
And it'll be Michael will benefit more from the wrestlers that also wrestle epic. So when she fights the Shuris and the
For Tommy.
Utamis,
Mhm.
right? Like that's where I think she'll have her best matches.
Yeah,
Um,
I fully agree.
but I mean the second half of this match is great. And it's the Saya and Micah that I love. So
Yep.
I think that's kind of the way I'm looking at Micah's reign from here on out. It's like she has a very Puro style
Hmm.
defense system, and it's a matter of who clicks the most in that because Joshi's very different from that. That's not everyone wrestles that style. Not
Which
many
makes
do.
sense based on where she trained.
Right. And I think some wrestlers are better at that than others. It's not my favorite style, obviously. That's why I watch Joshi
Mhm.
more than that's why I watch Stardom, not all Joshi, but I digress. But yeah, it was very good and it's a good start. And she's probably facing Tam next because it makes too much sense not to do next. She's back.
I agree. Yeah, they didn't do a post match angle, if I'm not mistaken.
Micah called out Tam, but they never like ma- made anything official per
Yeah.
se. Like they just faced off, and I was like, all right, we'll see, because they only have the Cinderella final prior to the Boontai show. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's not till March. So obviously we see what that is. I mean, do you hold off? I don't know what they're gonna do for the Philly show, but do you do like a sort of
I
world
don't think
title
they
at the
even
Philly
do a
show?
title defense there.
You don't think they're gonna do at least like I could see a high speed title maybe,
I could see that. I don't think they defend either of the top 2 titles though, because Stardom's a lot bigger than they were last time they came to America, and they know them showing up's enough.
Yeah, it's also in the 2300 arena, so it's not like it's gonna be
Yeah. I personally I wouldn't
time
do a
show.
world title match there. Like, and you have to keep those shows short because there's so many, right? So it's like you can't be doing big title matches there. I could see maybe an IWGP or the Strong.
Mhm.
Definitely one of the Stardom titles needs to happen. Like I could see the tag titles main event maybe or something
Mhm.
like that.
Jeff says TAM is February 24th, I think.
I don't even know what February 24th is off the top of my head. They don't have a pay-per-view until next month.
I'll let you confirm that.
Cinderella.
I'll let you confirm.
24th is in no, it's definitely not the 24th. They're in the middle of I'm not gonna say nowhere, but they're not even at Corkin for that. And they're not doing a world title match at a non-pay-per-view. So
Non-pay-per-view.
my guess would be the March 20th, which is the Cinderella finals.
Mm-hmm. That seems plausible. Some main event Wonder of Stardom title match. Sayori Anou defeats Starlight Kid. Obviously, Starlight Kid trying to channel the fallen loss in Japan, Okada, by channeling his long boys here. So yeah, she loses in 17 minutes and 42 seconds. Didn't get a suplex counter going for this match, but by God, should there have been for sure, because there was suplexes abound in this title match.
Yeah, there was a lot. So I think Sayori Anou is great. I love her. She's great in tags. She's great. She's really good in the GP, but she hasn't found her formula, in my opinion, for the title matches yet. Because the 2 Mirai matches did not click with me like I wanted. I like this a little bit more because I thought, like, 1, it was faster paced, and 2, it was just more interesting. But there's still a disconnect for me for them to reach like a higher level. And I think we're still looking for that. And I think she's going to benefit from like Starlight Kid's coming into this match ice cold, freezing cold, terrible 2023. Me and Trent heard it about where we ranked her on the tier list. Heard it. Let's just say she was not very high. So like ultimately, this is probably the best this match could have been in the current stage of where they are. You go like 5-6 months down the line, Starlight Kid's like fired back up, and Sayori has a more a longer reign and more. I don't think Sayori has the title that long, but you have a more figured out reign, then maybe it's different. But it's kind of wait and see for me, at least in terms of where Sayori goes, because it wasn't bad. It definitely wasn't bad. And I thought the close again was really great. Like
the closer was great. I was really
this was very exciting. It's just like there's something missing, I think.
And it could easily just been like Starlight Kid having some ring rest. I'm not gonna.
That's very true. That's very true, because I did like the pacing. It's just like it. If this is not Natsupoi and Sayori, I think we're having a bigger conversation.
Yeah, I think like Starlight Kid is a good way to like ramp up into Natsupoi, because Natsupoi obviously is going to have I think a similar pacing to a Starlight Kid, but is obviously going to be, I think by time that match happens, I think Natsupoi is going to be not having any sort of ring rust. Yeah, I thought it was really good. So I enjoyed I agree with you that I'm like Sayori Anou for me is like missing a gear. And it's not like she can go into a higher gear, but there's an even higher gear that she's not going into that I'm missing that I would love to see. And maybe, and I don't necessarily know what it is because she's been wrestling for years, so it's not like surely she has something, but I don't know.
She has that higher gear and like tag title matches and stuff, so it's like do it in singles. It's not that hard. I don't need a hot tag to do it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like the match with Julia she had in the 5-star was great. That's what I want to see from her.
I agree. From hear you in the comment section. I hope Natsupoi makes it back by Cinderella. I want her to win.
My God, me
that
too.
would perfectly set her up into a Wonder of Stardom title match.
Natsupoi should be winning the Wonder of Stardom title match at the Yokohama show. Period. End of story. Like that is what I'm doing. I said this to someone. I didn't tweet this out because I don't have a death wish. This title needs a champion like a Natsupoi desperately, because the last match that I loved for the Wonder was probably when Mina had it, and that's almost a year ago now. So I think Natsupoi is the champion to really carry this forward. Obviously Hazuki would be an option, but I just know that they're not going with her. So because the natural story is Natsupoi next. So go with the natural story. You're
telling Rossi to finish the story?
Yes.
Right, agreed. Was there, I'm trying to recall also, was there a post-match angle to this? I think it was just sort of
Tam. Nothing.
It was like Tam went out and then he sort of pointed, I think at
Tam all the time. She doesn't go away.
Weird energy that you got this Tam right now, Scotty.
Some people call me a Tam hater these days.
Long-time listeners of the show know my opinion on Tam, where it's like Tam can be really good, but sometimes I feel like Tam doesn't quite. I'll say it. I think sometimes Tam pulls a Kano, and we'll get to that review in a moment.
That match was so.
8-man tag team match: Maya Watani, Nanai Takahashi, Azumi, and Utami Hayashishida defeat Julia, Suzuki, Mirai, and Shuri. I thought this match was great. I thought this was non-stop action for 20 minutes
tags,
straight.
Baby.
This is all-star tags. This ruled. Non-stop action literally for 20 minutes. I greatly enjoyed it. What do you think about this 8-man tag?
Second best match on the show.
Easily.
It was the best of the best wrestling in one match. I mean, it was not going to be bad, right? It was like they have a level to reach, and they were gonna reach it in their sleep. Essentially, that's kind of how I felt about it. It was so great. It's what like all-star tags have been really emphasized in wrestling lately, and they just rule, man. Like they're just the best. It's because it's like not it doesn't matter too much who wins or loses. It's just all about the action and what they're delivering, and that's exactly what we saw in this match. You get to see crazy teams team up, and yeah, this rocked. Loved it.
I'm just going to do a slight interjection here right now. Tony Khan has just announced for Collision this Saturday, AEW International title match, Orange Cassidy versus Tomohiro Ishii. You had the same exact reaction I had of like, huh? Excuse me? Whoa, what? Yeah, that's
a choice.
That's an interesting one right there. That is an interesting one right there. I don't necessarily know how I feel. That I'm shocked by that, honestly. It should be good. I don't see any reason why it won't be good. But yeah, all-star tag team match. I thought this match ruled. Yeah, I don't know, man. I watched this match and the match prior to it, and I sort of reflected on the idea of Julia leaving. And I was like, between Suzuki, everyone else in this tag team match who is obviously still going to be in the company, I hope. And especially, Suzuki and Mei Sara. I sort of walked away of like, Stardom's fine. They're losing something in Julia, obviously, and that's a big thing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But they're fine.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have that kind of high speed title match right before this match, I would maybe be more concerned. But I literally looked at this and was like, yeah, we're fine. We're okay. We're okay.
I saw someone tweet, can we have Ishii versus Roddy at Revolution instead? I
would
couldn't
rule,
agree
though. That
more.
would
I
rule.
couldn't agree more. Oh man, that's a good one. They should have. They should have just Ishii and Roderick, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. There was also, I believe it was around this moment as well that Tekla sort of returned as well.
Yeah, she was gone a whole month. Didn't even
gone a
give me a
whole
chance
month.
to miss her.
Recovering from injury,
Yeah.
back in the company, seemingly. Where do you think Tekla fits in all of this? If she fits anywhere?
I don't really know. Because I don't think I don't see her staying post Julia. I just have a tough time like seeing her fit without her because that's why to me that's why she's here, and like she made it clear she wanted the strong title, which
Yep.
by the way everyone made clear they want that damn belt.
Yes. It was who do we got? It's Tekla, Etsuka Tora,
and Nanai on this
Nanai.
show, and
I
then we have
believe
of course Care waiting.
Nanai's putting her hair on the line. I heard.
Yeah, she said she would. I was like, I don't think they're gonna do a hair match, but sure. That's it's funny. That's the match that interests me the most because Nanai's like I know a lot of people don't like Nanai, but Nanai's brutal. So, in a good way.
That could really compliment Julia and how she wrestles.
Yeah, I mean they have 2 months to fit in
4 title matches. I think one of those is definitely going to happen. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I was going to say happen in Philly, but she's not staying that long until
she's not going to be here. She's not going to be on Windy City. She's not going to be here.
Oh yeah, in Windy City.
I could see them do like a fatal 4-way or something, and it goes from Julia to Tekla to Vaquer or something like that.
That's plausible.
And, you know, I'm thinking Tekla because Tekla obviously like
I think they're sort of I think they are sort of slotting Tekla maybe as sort of a Julia replacement.
Wow, that sucks.
Hey, as a Tekla fan, I'm into it, so I don't care. but you know, I think maybe that's the idea.
Julia replacement.
Well, because we talked about when Julia's contract was running up of like this idea of like Julia, what they're ultimately losing in Julia is like I think probably the biggest American star other than like Mayu, I would probably say. So who can be that for Stardom? I know they kind of push Mina Shirakawa into that role. Kind of, you know,
Mina Shirakawa's on New Japan show, baby.
That's true. So maybe that's the idea. Maybe it's Mina Shirakawa, but if they want to get someone else, maybe Tekla. Tekla kind of can do that. She can speak English, obviously.
I will be running with the joke, by the way, that they needed Stardom to save a David Finlay main evented show. Just letting you know.
Oh, David Finlay. Let's talk about the high-speed title match. Meisara defeats. Oh, sorry, not defeats. Time limit draw against Suzuki. This match ruled. This match, I saw you tweet out, bring back the prestige of the high-speed title. This was awesome. I needed to see this. And it's not just needed to see this. I love Suzuki. I thought Suzuki had a great year last year that was sort of weirdly underrated.
Suzuki rocks.
Meisara also rules and also has so much stuff, like so much polish to figure out. There were spots where, like, I think it was like
she does a lot.
She did like a flip or something over Hazuki, and I was like, and she didn't land on her feet, but I was like, ooh, the moment she lands on her feet, it's gonna rule. Everything about this match ruled. Obviously, a time limit draw. Sometimes you're like, dang it. But I think it worked really well here. I think it left something open for down the line.
She's one of those wrestlers that's like Meisara, that is. She's one of those wrestlers that can do a lot of things, and she's just going to keep throwing them out there to see what works.
Yeah. And
as time goes on, she's just going to get better and better at doing those things. Yeah. And that's what you saw in this match. Like her big thing has been figuring out her speed because she is so fast. And if you watch the Tekla defense, if you watch the other defense that she had, she was too fast for them.
Yeah.
Hazuki is advanced in that obviously she's a former high-speed wrestler, but Sarah's also learning how to control that speed more, and you're seeing it here. But
And
I mean,
Hazuki was a great person to do that against.
yeah, it was the ultimate. Okay, let's see who May Sarah truly is, and it's obviously a fantastic pro wrestler who is only going to get better and better and better as time goes on.
Yeah.
Everyone has to remember she hasn't even been back a year yet. Still, like she's still figuring things out. It's kind of insane because ultimately, if you look at her moves, they're very simple. She does a great drop kick. She does a blockbuster, which is crazy. Like she just leaps on the ropes and does that. But like nothing is super out of left field. Like she's not doing 450s and stuff like that. Everything is right. Everything's pretty simple, but she makes it look so good and she's so explosive that this match was just so good. Like when this match was over, I was like, there's nothing that's stopping this. It's not anyone's fault. It's just these two killed it. I saw May Sarah have the best sell on a code breaker ever, ever when Hazuki killed her off the top rope. I was like, this is what high speed is all about. This is the match you show someone to get into Joshi.
Yep.
I said that back when Azumi and Starlight Kid had that match.
Yep. 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Now? Yeah, I think it's 2 now. And I'm saying it again. This is what you show them.
Yep. I really enjoy Hazuki. You know this. Speed and intensity.
Oh, that's Hazuki's game.
Hazuki's got it in spades, baby. Oh my God.
That is her game.
Yeah. This 15 minutes of nonstop, just insanity. I thought this was so good.
I firmly believe that Hazuki would probably recognize as maybe the best in the world if she got a full year title reign. Like if she had a full year, because every title match she has, like singles title match she has, is in contention for Stardom Match of the Year. Every time she does. Doesn't happen a lot, but when she does it, it's 2 years in a row now. Locked. Done.
I think Hazuki has like a weird sort of like for New Japan, this sort of like Tomohiro Ishii energy where it's like you just slot her into a title match and it'll kick ass or slot her into something.
It's the role of except she should win the title.
Yeah. Just like Ishii probably will never win the title.
Which is
maybe she'll win, Wonder or something. I would love to see her do a Wonder.
Oh, I'm putting her against Ano as soon as possible.
I think that's something that Sayori Anu would need.
That would get her to that next pace in her singles matches. That's just it's the way.
Like I said, seeing this match and then seeing Julia come out, I was really just like, I think it was actually May, and then they did as she walked away, it was Suzu Suzuki was the first one out. I saw two of them back to back, and I was like, oh yeah, we're fine. Spartan's all right.
As good as signings the company had last year. Like I know AEW signs everyone under the sun, so it's like whatever. But in terms of like building for the future, there's not much better than those two. It's like we're balling.
I'm seeing people in the chat discuss May having a title defense, possibly at Philly. We sort of talked about it as well. Who would you think would be a good title defense in Philly for the high-speed title? A couple good options.
So high-speed title is really tough because like there's not tons of options that are going to get to the highest level of possibility. And Hazuki already happened, and May has already said she wants to get better and challenge Hazuki again, which please.
What about that at the Philly show? Why not? Why not?
I think it's probably too soon for them, but they should. I mean, I would put a high-speed title match on that show.
Yeah.
Because again, that is one thing Stardom offers that no other company does.
Yeah.
In wrestling. Azumi obviously jumps off the page as well, though I'm convinced they're probably saving that for Yokohama. So
makes sense.
It's a tough month to have this American show. It's a tough month.
Yeah.
But I running back Hazuki would never be a bad thing.
Well, what about Starlight Kid as a
that's a possibility. She's very popular, obviously, so that could obviously help too. She said she doesn't have interest in the high speed anymore. But you know what? As me and people say that, and then they get put in the matches, so it doesn't really matter.
But yeah, you can do one match in a Philly show and
Yeah.
sort of a non-canonical
Right.
show.
Because Mace Sarah would win, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly. Now, do you want Starlight Kid to lose?
I don't care.
Yeah,
I want Mace Sarah to win. That's what I care about.
That's a fair point. We also have the undercard here, tag team title. Oh, not tag team title match, a tag team match. The returning Tam Nakano, Yuna Mizumori defeat Mina Shikara and Waka Tsukiyama. I thought it was totally fine. I didn't get any big
house show tag.
Yeah, I didn't get any big things from that.
It was to say Tam's back.
Mm-hmm. Oedo Tai defeats Queen Quest. Momo Watanabe and Natsuko Tora defeat Lady C and Miyu Amasaki. I think that's just another house show tag on the way to a tag title challenge. And then the future of Stardom title match, Rina defeats Yuzuki. I thought this match was really good. I thought this was really good. I don't really know, when I think of future of Stardom title, I think of like who's the belt holder, and I'm like, I don't really know where Rina goes from here. Like, I don't really know what Rina's role in the future of Stardom is. But when I see this, when I think of future of Stardom, I do think of Yuzuki. I think that's the future of Stardom, like everybody else does. But I was trying to think about like Rina, and I was like, I don't really know how Rina fits.
She'll be the top heel eventually.
You think?
That's her role. They don't utilize heels like other companies do, so she could easily fill in for the Oedo Tai role down the line. Yuzuki has 31 matches in her career. That's all I'm going to say for this review.
It's really good.
31.
I don't think I actually seen any of the previous matches. I think this actually was my first Yuzuki match. Good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Keeper. That's a keeper.
Good.
Yeah, that's I'm excited.
That's how we're reviewing for now on. Good.
I'm excited for Stardom.
Oh, we got to talk about Noah now, don't we?
Well, we'll talk about AEW first.
Well, there's only 2 Noah matches, aren't there?
You and I only watched the top 2.
I don't watch anything else. You kidding me?
Yeah, I was gonna watch.
You think I watched Daga?
I was gonna watch Daga, but then
the Lion King.
The Lion King.
That's his nickname.
Oh God, awful, awful. What is Stardom's next show? It is just I assume a bunch of other tours, but the next big thing is the Cinderella tour, right?
Yeah. They have Cork and stuff, but yeah, that's the next big one.
Well, then let's just stick with Noah then. Let's just do that real quickly because it's not going to be a lot of time, and then we'll go back to AEW Dynamite.
Oh no, we're gonna go over time again to preview shows. Wow, I'm shocked. We won't go that far. We're
an hour 40.
We have what? AEW New Japan left after this? That's not bad.
Yeah, exactly. We fine. Noah crossover in Sendai also happened this morning. 1,100 people in attendance in Sendai Sun Plaza, so a little bit less than Stardom, but no big diggy. That's what the kids say. You and I only watched the top 2. Everything else on the show, I was gonna watch the Daga match, but I didn't get a chance to see it. And Cage match, it has 2 votes for 7, so I guess it's pretty good. I guess, but everything else didn't really excite me too much. But you and I definitely watched the 2 top matches. One, because the tag team title match had Jack Morris in it, defending against Alpha Wolf and Dragon Bane, and you and I are into that. And then we got the shocking main event that we'll talk about first, the GHC heavyweight title match. You and I both very excited about it because we both love El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., but he ended up getting the win over Kano. And El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. is your new GHC heavyweight champion.
Yeah, he sure is.
I am shocked by that result. I'm into it. For a fact I'm into it, but I'm shocked by that result.
So I'm awake at whatever time. I'm watching Stardom. Not look at the timeline. Then I'm like, all right, I'll look at the timeline for a second. And I just see him holding up the belt. And I was like, what? I just messaged you in our...
Oh, is that what that message was regarding?
Yeah, I just like, yeah! Because I was like, holy shit. Him winning was never even slightly crossed my mind.
No. No, I never thought that was going to happen. I mean, I thought you and I hoped about that after losing the national title of like,
yeah, but I was like,
that would be a cool spot for him to do. He did really well in the national title scene, so why not?
hey, look at him. He's champion now. I have no problem with it, really. I mean, I think Kano should have like one more defense or something because he was like really about restoring Noah and doing all this, and now he loses again.
Yes, this is his third defense. He defended against Manabu Soya, obviously the New Year show, against Go Shiozaki, and then now losing to Dr. Wagner Jr.
That's so funny.
Well, yeah, I think the bigger story here is Kano, because you're right. Kano went into this match talking about like, yeah, I'm gonna defend Noah, create more of a challenge, and Noah be a better champion. That's maybe the reason why Okada left, because we weren't much of a challenge. And then he goes into this match. I thought this man, Kano, I typically like Kano, but I thought this guy sort of just hand waved the match, not interested in possibly doing a job here, and ended up losing to Dr. Wagner Jr. and just in a not interesting fashion from Kano.
Absolute coast job.
Yeah. Yeah. It was disappointing to say the least.
So, like, I thought the match ultimately was like fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? Like, it got to like the average. Congratulations of a world title match. But
the finishing stretch got there a little bit.
Yeah, but like what I expect from these two.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm sitting here like penciling in like a 4 going into this match with my expectations of him winning a 2. I was like, oh, here we go. And I'm watching. I'm just like,
yeah,
can this end?
Mm-hmm. And I want people to know in mind before we talk about it. I watched this match first on the card. I did not watch the tag match and then go into the main event.
Oh, thank God you did that. I did it the other way around.
So I even walked away being like, well, that wasn't that exciting. That was kind of dull. I think the best adjective I can say.
Yeah. For a world title match with these two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This should have been way more, and it wasn't. And I don't know what do you think that is? Do you think that's just Kano not wanting to do the job? Do you think that is just like, I don't know. Do you think back office is upset about him being like, I want to do better. I think I'm the reason or whatever. I don't know what it is. The fact that he loses here to
wrestlers.
What's that?
There could just be a disconnect between the two wrestlers. I don't know.
It could be. Yeah, certainly could be.
Not everyone has.
I take that back. I don't think it could be. Kano's effort was not there. And I don't think that's a disconnect. I think Kano is just not interested in this.
That's true. This is probably the least effort I've ever seen from him.
Yeah. This was bad. It
was really upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
But Wagner's won, so like I wasn't that upset.
Now, Dr. Wagner Jr. won. Do you know who the first challenge is?
What a jump scare that graphic was. When I saw that. I was like, oh man, they want him to fail too. That's crazy.
Scotty, I saw that graphic, and you want to know my reaction? This is my immediate. I'm scrolling, I see the graphic, I'm like, oh no. I saw.
I'm gonna make a bet with you right now. Okay. That match will be better than this one.
Oh, oof.
And you know how I feel about Jake Lee.
I think a side bet, that match is also longer than this one. It's going to be 35 minutes, and it's going to be at least a half a star better.
Wait, here we go. That's all I need.
Yeah. And that's going
who am I?
Lee. 2 Jake Lee haters.
Look at me. I'm in the corner. Like Jake Lee.
God, Jake Lee.
You know what's funny about Jake Lee?
He sucks.
Yeah.
Hold on, ask that question again. I have an alt joke.
I don't even remember what I said.
You just said what's
funny about Jake Lee. You know what's funny about Jake Lee?
His attire.
That's also true.
Yeah, I have another alt joke.
You know what's funny about Jake Lee?
His Cody Rhodes-esque tattoo.
Oh, that's a good one. All right.
All right. I'm all out jokes. Go ahead.
He has like moves that should make him entertaining. right? Like he does suplexes, he does big boots, and like he does all these good things, and he just sucks.
Yeah. He's a
He's
charisma
just
vacuum.
like you and me talking about it when he was world champion. We do not want to watch their shows. I mean, I was going to watch his matches because I hate myself, but we didn't want to watch their shows and talk about them on here.
Yeah, we were so bothered by them.
And I am now here saying that match is going to be better than this one. And I feel pretty confident about it too. Not because I think Jake Lee's good, but because I thought this match was so underwhelming.
Yeah.
That I can't see it being worse unless Jake Lee does absolute snooze fest for 35 minutes. I'm hoping that they follow a Wagner Jr. main event style. Because then we could get there, you know? But I'm happy for Elio de Dr. Wagner Jr. He deserves this.
Do you think with Dr. Wagner Jr. getting a world getting the world title, we'll get Psycho Clown back in Noah?
No.
I'm into it. Hey, I would be into it. That was a great little feud right there.
They should do Kaito and Wagner at their big show, whatever it's called.
Cyber Fight show?
Aren't they? No, that's gone. I think they're doing Ryogoku. They should probably do it there.
Maybe.
Oh, that'd be good.
It's an interesting idea. I mean, Kano was falling a little behind in attendance, so maybe the idea is go with Dr. Wagner Jr. to raise things up. I don't know.
Maybe predicting what Noah's thinking is not easy. Because nothing that like they're a company that doesn't make any, listen, their final 2 big matches featured one Japanese talent. One.
That is true.
Final 3 matches. Who the hell did Daga defend against?
Hajime Ohara.
Oh God. Oh God.
He's Japanese though, so
he's terrible.
Out of all the title matches, there was only 2 Japanese talents.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's
out of 8 people.
Out of 8 people.
That's rough, buddy.
But let's talk about the GHC tag team title match. Anthony Green, Jack Morris defending against Alpha Wolf and Dragon Bane. Scotty, I don't know what your opinion is on this match. And I don't know if there's a hot take or anything, but I thought this match fucking ruled.
Why would that be a hot take?
Here's my hot take. This was my match of the weekend.
All right, that's a hot take.
That's a hot take.
Okay.
I went 4.5 on this. I thought this match was so good. This was easily the best Anthony Green match I've ever seen in my life. Alpha Wolf and Dragon Bane were on something. Jack Morris ruled. The dual shooting stars ruled. The whole closing, the strikes, the clotheslines, the whole closing sequence ruled. There was a point where I'm just sitting here watching this match. I'm like, this is awesome. This is so good. I'm loving what I'm seeing. This is what I wanted to see in this sort of tag team encounter. Unlike the world title match on this goddamn show, this tag team title match, I circled and was like, this match was it for me. This is what I wanted. This ruled. I love this match so much. I can't talk about it more other than it. Please go out of your way. This match was so good. Jack Morris was very good. And Alpha Wolf and Dragon Bane were just, there's something else, dude. They are something else in this company. They are so good. They are so cohesive. They are so fluid. They're, who is it? I don't know. Alpha Wolves, Dragon Banes. I don't know which one's which. I think it's Dragon Banes. His strikes kick ass so much. And yeah, and like I said, Anthony Green, the best work I've ever seen him do in his career.
Why are you only saying Anthony Green? Based off your ratings, everyone.
Oh, everyone did great too. It's just I'm shocked at how great Anthony Green was here because this guy has been kicking around for since 2012, and this is easily the best match I've ever seen him have.
It's easily the best match I've seen any of them. Well,
Jack Morris had
Alpha Wolf Rock. No,
Jack Morris had a couple great matches.
He did not have a match that's good. Maybe the Wagner one, the first.
I was going to say he had the Wagner one last year. That was
great. But either way, I'm not as high on it as you. I should have went first because now I feel like I'm going to talk it down. I'm not going to talk it down. That was great.
That's fine.
I watched it first, and it had me so hyped for going into the main event. I was like, yeah, Lucha takes over. No, I was really upset that they lost though, because like to me, this was completely them.
Yes, 100%.
Like I thought it was Alpha Wolf and Dragonbane just putting on an absolute show, and the other two just kind of being the basis for that show. And
it's talk about they worked that lucha style, and talk about, again, speed and intensity. That's what I want in my wrestling. I got that from all four of these guys.
They need to, and unfortunately, the result of this is that instead of like one of these two getting a big title match against Jack Morris, it's Anthony Green.
I know. The result of this is a dumb booking decision.
Yeah. But this match was great. It was so much better than I had my expectation. Like, I thought it was gonna be good because I love those two, but it definitely exceeded my expectations, and
same
gave me hope until they lost.
I mean, this was technically the former junior champions, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Moving up the flagpole of the heavyweight titles. I think this is sort of just proved that they're willing to stay they should stay in this division. And I think we're going to get a second match of this easily down the line with Alpha Wolf and Dragonbane eventually winning.
I think they should just give them the world.
I agree. I really like this match. I really like this match.
Great match.
I like this match so much that I DM Jack Morris and just be like, that match ruled, man. You did a great job.
He DM'd me and said, make sure you watch it. And I was like, I already did, bud.
Oh man, dude. It's so
I know my job for this show. I do it. I used to not do it, but I do it now.
Now that Noah had an interesting 2 matches to talk, newsworthy matches to talk about.
Damn it, Kano, what happened to you? What happened to that dog?
Yeah, that dog is
Can I say it now? Because I've always been very like hesitant to say this because I know how much you liked him and how much everyone likes him.
Kano?
Yeah.
Go for it.
He has never been like my guy.
I don't blame you. I don't think I'm into Kano, but he's also never been, I think, truly my guy. My guy has always been Go Shiozaki. But since his return from injury, I don't think he's as much my guy anymore.
Damn,
but
this bitch ain't loyal.
I'm starting to also become my new guy being Dr. Wagner Jr. That's
my guy left. So shout out Nakajima, killing it elsewhere.
Yeah,
I don't think I have a guy. I don't think I got a guy. Kiyomiya is probably my guy. I enjoy him very much.
Let's just say it, Scotty. Your guy's Jake Lee.
That's disgusting. Wait. If this doesn't make people watch Ring Post Radio, I don't know what does. He left. He left me. I don't even know what he's doing.
This is Ring Post Radio Nights, folks. This is what you're getting. Oh my God. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. We've been kicking it off.
Yeah, we said this an hour ago. Yeah. Oh wait, more fitting. Sorry.
Money.
Yeah, a random ass Phoenix, Arizona Dynamite gets a big time show here tonight. Not entirely sure why it's getting a big time show here tonight, or on Wednesday, I should say. I don't know if it's like a political thing or like
I know it's Super Bowl week, but like I don't know if you know this. The Super Bowl's on Sunday.
Sorry, you mean the big game?
Yeah, the big game.
But the card for Dynamite, and we don't really talk about Dynamite that much, but this is a good enough card to talk about. Tornado Tag Team match, main event, AEW World Tag Team Championships, Ricky Starks and Big Bill defending against Sting and Darby Allin. Chris Jericho versus Kanosuke Takeshita. It's a continuation of a feud. It's story. I get it. Tony Storm versus Red Velvet, an eliminator match. Tony Storm's going to win that. Who cares? But CMLL trio versus Blackpool Combat Club. A number 1 contenders match between Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. Oh, God. And of course, Tony Khan will make a big announcement. You really wanted to talk about it in this AEW Dynamite show, Scotty, so please have the floor.
CMLL versus Blackpool Combat Club. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Nothing.
I can't wait.
Oh
CML
my
should win that match, by the way, fully.
Absolutely. Dorada pins someone. I don't care. I don't even really care who pins anyone. Just don't let people all door. It's incredible. It was unimaginable 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know they had like the idea of a relationship in place, but we saw one match, right?
Yeah.
And we have to all thank Andrade for this. I think that's very important because Andrade going to CMLL and them making that deal really helped bring this all together. So shout out to Andrade El Idolo. Hope he's enjoying his contract
with WWE Raw.
With WWE Raw. But this is incredible.
Yeah.
This is going to be fantastic in Moxie's Tees in Arena Mexico. I mean, my God, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is about. This is for the love of the game.
You know who should win this? Maybe like Volador Jr. or Mascara Dorado, whoever.
Probably Hechicero.
Pin Claudio, let's say, or pin. I don't think it's gonna be Moxley. I don't think it's Danielson. Pin Claudio, and then we do a singles match on Collision.
Ooh.
There we go, baby. That's how you do it.
I do have one complaint though.
What's that?
Where the fuck is Mystico?
Yeah, Mystico not on the card here.
Did you watch the Rampage match?
Yes, I did.
He's the greatest of all time. Here's why.
I hate to say
Volador Jr., Dorada going crazy pace right to start the match off. This is what CMLL is all about. All right, tag in Mystico. He just stops.
Gets the crowd into him again. He needs
He's the greatest. He's the greatest. No, this match is gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for it. We are very spoiled. You didn't even say Hangman and Swerve.
I did say Hangman and Swerve. We're gonna get Hangman and Swerve.
That's 3. Very important.
Very important. This is number 1 and number 2 in the rankings. Fun fact: the rankings are back.
Would you like to hear my complaint about this show?
You have a complaint about this show?
Yeah, they put too much on it. There's not enough time.
That's a fair complaint. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for that complaint.
Like, something's gonna get rushed. I'm gonna assume it's a tag title match. I'm guessing that's like sub 10 minutes, truthfully.
That's probably sub 10 minutes. I mean, Tony Storm Red Velvet is probably like sub 10 easily, like 6 or 7.
Oh, Tony Storm's so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. It's jam-packed. Swerve Hangman Adam Page number 3. This is really
People
good.
Are thinking time limit draw, man.
Really? That's plausible. Like a TV. It's interesting if they do a TV time permitting time limit draw, but they keep going over their 10 o'clock time period.
Yeah,
so it's like I don't know if you can do that though.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Who do you think? Yeah, so let's talk about that. Who do you think wins and faces Samoa Joe at Revolution? Swerve is 2 up on Adam Page. Booking would suggest that Adam Page gets the win, but after the last promo, I don't really know if Swerve should lose. Invoking everything. Invoking the idea of being the historic first ever black heavyweight champion in AEW.
He showed up Kingston. That's the greatest thing of all time.
Yeah, invoking that idea is like, I don't know if you should lose.
They're in a really weird situation because it feels like this match is supposed to be a 3-way, in my opinion.
At the Revolution match?
Yeah, like that's where I've been this whole time. And maybe that's their way to beat Joe without pinning him.
You're assuming Joe's losing the title Revolution?
I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know. Like, originally, yeah, I did. Mm-hmm. But Joe's doing so well. Like, why would I have Joe lose? But Swerve's so hot right now. Why would I have him lose? Hangman's the only person I don't see winning. Mm-hmm. Hangman rocks, obviously.
He's been great this year so far.
I mean, he's great whenever they give him a spotlight. It's not his fault that he's not great.
Fair.
It's the guy that just got hurt's fault. Sorry, CM Punk. But I don't know. I guess that's the exciting part of this match for me. Like, I said this last week on this show that I think Revolution is going to be the greatest AEW pay-per-view ever. Mm-hmm. And
it's totally plausible.
Sure is. I mean, your top 3 matches are whatever this world title match is. Mm-hmm. Sting,
the triple threat.
Sting retiring
against the Young Bucks.
Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson.
Yep. Unless of course we get a swerve and it's Bryan Danielson versus, I don't know, Blue Panther, some insane weird match. That's undoubtedly going to happen at some point.
If it was Mystico, this would be the greatest show, guaranteed.
Fine, Mystico versus John Moxley. That's certainly plausible. If we're going to do Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson, which is fully on the table, it might also just be Mystico and Moxley at Revolution. I don't see that being off the table.
Oh my god! My only problem with all this, like the CML stuff, is they're starting this right before they're gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So like, there's not going to be that much continuity after this, unless we're bringing like Capitan Suicida.
They can bring in Neon.
Neon's sick.
Yeah, why not? There's a couple guys you can bring in, but they're firmly established.
The main guys are gone.
They are firmly establishing these 4 guys, which will all be gone in a week?
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah,
I mean they'll be back in time if they want to do a pay-per-view match. But it'll be sick. It'll be great booking. So they're all gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all over in Japan. That's when you have the Blackpool Combat Club show up and run roughshod on CMLL in
Japan.
Mexico.
Run an AEW
in Japan.
I'm sure the New Japan fans will be okay with it.
Oh, Danielson will be there.
He'll be at the Osaka show the day before the Fantastic Mania starts.
I'm just excited. I'm excited for this show. By the way, Sting and Darby are winning, obviously, but
yeah, I think Sting and Darby. You and I both agree. I think everyone's agreeing that Sting and Darby are winning the titles.
If they don't, that would be very funny to finally make them lose after all this time.
Mm-hmm.
To Ricky Starks and Big Bill.
Yeah, it's a weird spot for them to lose.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Revolution's gonna be great. This is the most random show ever, but I'm very excited for it. I just hope that it's timed well. Oh, and the big announcement.
I was about to bring it up. The big announcement.
The big announcement. That's right. That's right.
Money.
Obviously, it's Okada.
Oh,
it could honestly be both. You never know.
I did my homework, everybody.
Oh, Scotty, investigative journalist.
The Boston Bruins and the Boston Celtics do not play on March 13th, which is
an open date, an open calendar on AEW that does not have a show announced for it yet.
Correct. And the TD Garden is wide open. No concerts, nothing. It almost feels automatic to do AEW Dynamite Monday or whatever the hell they want to call it. Well, they're gonna have some random name for it.
What about like Money in the Garden? Is that something? Is that anything?
Seen Spider-Verse?
Yes.
I want them to do like, let's try this one more time, and then just do the first sentence. That would be funny. I know that's a Chicago thing, so it kind of defeats the purpose, but it'd be very funny.
Does Boston have something like that where they could lean on?
I don't know. They're just gonna do some like bank statement thing, or like cash money, bro, or I don't know. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be something like money infused. But what matters is that that's gonna be the announcement. I am putting all my chips in. That is my belief. But I don't know. Obviously, like no one knows for sure because it's Mercedes Moné.
Yeah.
And there's no one more unpredictable than this woman.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident.
So the idea is that according to rumors that whatever this big announcement is, assuming it's the same big announcement, that they were going to announce Mercedes or whatever in regards to her on Collision last week, right? The rumor is that they were going to say that last week. They decided not to because of all the Vince McMahon and WWE allegations that happened Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day that was. And they decided to hold it off. See if it's the same thing, hold off for like a week and a half. Do we fully think it's Mercedes, or do you think it? What are the percent chances Mercedes? What are the percent chances like Okada or something else, or maybe both? I guess it could do both.
I'm like at 95% Mercedes.
Yeah, I agree. I'm fully think it's Mercedes, and they're announcing whatever the Garden show is.
Like I think Okada just like shows up.
I think maybe Okada shows up at the Garden Show.
I think he does Revolution, so I think he comes in before that.
When's Revolution?
The weekend before, so the 4th of March, maybe.
Yeah, March 3rd. March 3rd.
I'm just happy she might actually show up. Kind of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we got to the point where I just want her to be here. You know, like I understand it's a lot to ask for, but she seems clear. She's training. This is the biggest. This is going to go down as the biggest get, I think, for AEW because she's a megastar.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fascinated to see how she does in AEW. I think she'll do really well. Obviously, there are people have had concerns about her promo ability.
That's crazy to me.
That you don't.
Tony Storm's cutting the worst promos in the business every week, and that's what we're worried about with Mercedes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, maybe not the worst promos, but they're pretty bad. Like they anger me. Like, okay, Tony Storm said on commentary,
they're good promos in the sense of what her gimmick is. They're good at serving that gimmick. The gimmick sucks, but they're good at serving that idea. That makes sense.
Well, every time every time Mariah May cuts a promo, it's 10 times better than Tony Storm. So that's she's the one, and she's the one that's playing the lackey. So take that for what you will. I'm not worried at all about Mercedes Moné cutting a promo. And like, stop.
Yeah.
Like that. There's no concerns with her. The only concern is can they book to where they need to with her now part of the company. That's the only concern. And we're on our way there. Even if Tony Storm wants to ruin that with comments she says on commentary, we're on our way there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It should be good. It should be eventful Dynamite this week.
Yeah.
Speaking about eventful, let's close out real quickly talking about New Japan and Osaka. This is New Japan show next week.
Big Show.
No, Big Show is not on this show. Who is on the show, however? We got some 4 great matches, possibly 5, I would have to say, but certainly some top 4 great matches. We have outside in the 5th spot, we have Los Ingobernables de Japón versus Just 5 Guys. They've been feuding all New Beginning Tour. We have a singles match, Tanahashi versus the New Japan contract list Kazuchika Okada. That should be the final match together in their rivalry, in their historic rivalry in New Japan, as Okada works this match. I think he has one more match in February, if I'm not mistaken.
He has 2. He's going to be at the last 2 shows of the tour.
Okay, so this is his 3rd to last then, right?
Supposedly, yeah.
So we'll have that. I would love to get some sort of angle to maybe heat up something for the last 2 matches. We'll see. IWGP Tag Team title, Guerrillas of Destiny versus Bullet Club, Chase Owens and Kenta. It's happening again. Did not realize that match is on this card again, Scotty. But maybe it's continuing the story of Chase Owens and Kenta can't get on the same page. So maybe there's going to be a breakup between Chase Owens and Kenta. Get excited, folks.
Say it with me. It's the story of being awful. The match is going to be so bad, and they're doing it
wasn't
twice.
Good before. I'll tell you that much. It was not good before.
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. But you didn't have to tell me that. I know.
I know you knew.
You know why?
I did tell you. I think we talked about it on the show, and I was like, it wasn't that good. But it was. I'm only bringing it up because there's the story, and now the fact that they're doing the title match again, they're gonna either continue it or do something in that story. So it could be noteworthy in that regard. A special singles match: Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Excuse me. So that should be really good. Continuing where they left off in Seattle.
That's a tasty treat.
That's a little tasty treat. And of course, we'll close off with the main event, the War Dogs steel cage match. Scotty, I don't know if you saw the new beginning show today, but we got the reveal of the rules of this match. It's basically a War Games match. This is going to be a War Games.
God.
I heard that and I got slightly disappointed. It should still be good, but I think there's maybe a reason they're doing that. So obviously it's going to be United Empire versus War Dogs. The idea is that it's a War Games match. So Ospreay and Finlay are going to start the match. Every couple of minutes, a new member is going to come in with the advantage going to the War Dogs. So that is what this match is going to be.
Right?
What's that?
Like, it's just one cage. We're not going to have double rings at least, right?
I believe it is just one ring.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be two. I think it's just the one.
I figured there wouldn't be two.
Yeah. But that, I mean, I'm into it. One ring, it's just going to eventually fill up and it's going to be very good. A couple injuries going into this match. Drilla Maloney tore his bicep completely off the bone about a week or two ago. He showcased it in his backstage area where it's like, oh man, his biceps look really bad because he tore it off the bone. Apparently, Jeff Cobb is also working with a leg injury.
Awesome.
Going into the show. And then also storyline wise, Francisco Akira, I think, is going to be the most interesting aspect of the storyline going into it because he's the guy that's going into this show sort of like fearing the War Dogs a little bit and a little bit of lack of confidence in himself. So there's
fearing the War Dogs.
Well, they actually had a really good tag team title match today where he was going to do a spot, and then Drilla Maloney pulled out a fork that he previously stabbed him in the eye with at New Year Dash, and Francisco Akira dropped off and was like, whoa, don't hit me, don't hurt me.
You know, that's crazy. I stabbed myself in the eye with a fork when never mind.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Oh, so you want to hear my take? You want to hear my take?
Sure, go right ahead.
Kazuchika Okada did the right thing.
Hold on, huh? What does that take? What? Huh?
Not putting anyone over. Because here's why.
Why is that?
While he's not putting anyone over, Will Ospreay has chosen to put David Finlay and Michael Oku over on his way to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Two people. Come on!
Two people you cannot stand.
Can't stand!
I'm not entirely sure that David Finlay and the War Dogs are getting the win here.
Wait, the faction doesn't disband after this?
No, this is not a faction disband match. The faction still could disband after this, but it is not the match itself. I kind of think, based on the story, unless Francisco Akira is turning on United Empire and maybe joining the War Dogs, I actually think this match is ending with Francisco Akira getting the win. Because they're doing the storyline where he's like lack of confidence in himself, and he's kind of being a solo guy right now and turning his hand away from the rest of his team and leaving interviews early, and the rest of the guys are like, hey, what's up with this guy? I kind of think, well, number one, based on what's happening, he's going to be the guy, if it's an open top, he's going to be the guy jumping off the top of the steel cage and attacking everybody. That is for certain. But I kind of think it might be Francisco Akira getting the win, getting the pinfall victory against the heel faction of the War Dogs. That's my theory. That is what I think is going to happen. Because that is ultimately the biggest story going into this match, I think. Not into it, Scotty. I'm into this. I'm very excited for this match.
So you know I don't like the War Dogs.
Of course. What if I told you that Gabe Kidd and Hanari had a great match this morning?
Oh my God. I don't like that.
I know you don't like that.
I mean, I'm going to watch it.
It's the truth. They had the great match this morning.
I've seen it. That's why I'm going to watch. Like, I've seen people say it, so I'm going to watch it. But let's just say
what if I told you that David Finlay and Callum Newman had a better than expected match this morning?
That's not shocking.
The expectations were low, so that's part of the gimmick there.
Exactly. David Finlay. I don't even. Okay, let me take this all back. I don't dislike David Finlay. I just dislike the role they've given him as the new top foreigner.
So here's the thing that also frustrated me about David Finlay and Callum Newman
match. I do dislike Michael Oku. I don't like him.
I know. They had a better than expected match this morning. But David Finlay to me, I made the comparison when he first started saying that he felt like he was Jay Light, if you will. He kind of had a Roman Reigns energy to him in the Newman match this morning, where he's talking mid-match, he does a move, and then he goes to pin Newman, 1, 2, and then he picks up Newman. He's like, I'm not done with you. I was just like, that felt like a Roman energy to me.
That's
I got more worried about it. I have concerns. I do think this match is going to roll. I think Ospreay, of all people, is going to ensure that this match does not suck. It's his last match in New Japan. He's not going to phone it in.
Not suck.
Yeah. Look, Ospreay is not going to phone in this match at all. And at the very least, his energy and him in this match is going to at least make it 4 stars, because that's what Ospreay is apparently able to do with every match he has.
This match is my 3rd most anticipated on the show.
Yeah. I wouldn't say 3rd. I would say maybe 2nd. The war games aspect of it makes it less interesting a little bit to me. But I think maybe part of that was because there's 2 people actively injured, so you could do a thing where they're, staggered entrances so they can come in later and be in the match the least amount of time. But I'm not super jazzed about that rule change.
I hate war games, man. I hate the war games so much. But gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
I'm still excited for it. Watching the show,
cautiously optimistic.
That's fair. I fully get being at an arm's length with this match, but after watching this morning, I got a little bit more into it.
Callum Newman got you there.
Callum Newman weirdly got me there. Not even in the match. So is Great-O-Khan.
Kind of disrespectful, huh? Great-O-Khan's in the match.
No, he's not. He is not in the match. He is. Him, Great-O-Khan, and Callum Newman are in a tag match on the second match of the show against Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto. The match is Will Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, Hanare, TJP, Francisco Akira versus David Finlay, Alex Coughlin, Gabe Kidd, Clark Connors, and Drilla Maloney. Great-O-Khan is not in the match. He could replace Jeff Cobb, but I don't think they're doing that.
That's crazy. I never realized that.
Yeah.
Great-O-Khan's not in the match?
No.
Wow.
Which goes back to this idea of like maybe they do like a turning angle and that's how United Empire lose. Remember we talked about this idea of like Great-O-Khan is in the match earlier tonight. He can make a surprise thing where he turns on Ospreay or something, and that's how United Empire loses or something like that.
They hate Great-O-Khan?
I don't think they hate Great-O-Khan.
They refuse to put him in the main event here.
Oh, you mean United Empire or New Japan?
New Japan.
He's the KOPW champion, so they don't dislike him.
Sure.
I think they tolerate Great-O-Khan.
This show's Sunday morning.
Yeah, Sunday morning. If it makes you feel better, Fantastica Mania is the next day. You're really not into this card.
I'm into Danielson and Zach.
Well, I should say, yeah, not the card. You're not in the main event. A couple weeks ago, you were into the main event. Now you're fully out, it feels like.
War Games kills me. Like, you don't understand how distraught I am at the thought of War Games right now.
That's fair.
I've had to be at the past 2 on accident. I hate it.
How do you be somewhere on accident? How do you buy tickets to a WWE?
I bought tickets to AEW before Blood and Guts was real. Do not blame me for that.
That's fair. That is true.
The other one, that was my fault, but that's fine.
Oh yeah, they were in the TD Garden for that show, weren't they?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was not my fault.
Interesting.
Kota Ibushi was there.
He was, and he did a lot of that match, didn't he?
He sure did.
That is it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio, folks. That's the main show there. Someone asked the question, Ghetto ASMR Exposed asked the question, anyone think about The Rock coming back? And Jeff with a great answer. Listen to the first part of the show. We talked about it in the first part. which, of course, you can listen to the first part by downloading the podcast Ring Post Radio wherever you get podcasts. That will be uploaded promptly tomorrow morning, probably, because it is 9:30 our time here. Or at the very least, the video replay will be up as soon as we're over with this stream.
All right, I'm back into it on this match.
What happened? I stopped talking about it.
No, I've thought about it. I'm looking at it. It's one cage. I'm gonna hope that means something.
Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna be an open top or not. I think it's gonna be open top. I think Akira's gonna do a diving crossbody off the top.
I hate open top.
Because what did they have before? They used to have just like a
Oh no, open top makes sense, right? Because the other one would just be a Hell in a Cell.
Yes. Which I think they didn't have. They've had cage matches before in the history of New Japan, but I don't remember if they are open top or not. Oh, no, they are.
All right.
They are open top.
I'm thinking Hell in a Cell for some reason. No, that's fine.
Yeah. If it appears that they are open top. Here, I'm downloading an image so you can see what it looks like. Here we go.
Steel cage match in.
Here we go. Scotty, this is what a steel cage match has previously looked like in New Japan.
The hell is that?
It's a steel cage.
Yeah, but who are they?
I got no idea.
Why is there no one there?
What do you mean no one's there? There's two people there.
Yeah, no.
Wait, we no crowd?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
I think that's supposed to be okay. That is the second ever steel cage match, empty arena, KO only, cage death match. Hiroshi Tanahashi, who's in the ring, versus Kazunari Murakami for the IWGP under 30 open weight title.
I like that cage. Okay, this could okay. I might. Ryan.
Yes,
I'm back in.
Yeah, baby.
I like the openness of the cage.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the rest of I'm looking at a thread of steel cage matches. All the other ones have been open top cage that are like, just around the.
Everyone should bleed.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. Do you think? Here's another question that may ruin the show again for you. Ready? Is the ass wing gonna show back up?
Oh dear God! I mean, it's
plausible.
possible.
It's plausible.
I'm not gonna sit here and rule it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna sit here and welcome it.
I will welcome the entrance. The entrance was cool. I was into the entrance. You know, the little fingers.
When the clock ticks down, then they do the entrance. It's the ass wang.
Oh man, he's got the fingers. He's got the fingers. Remember when Michael Cole was super into Valhalla's horns? That's kind of what I was doing there. Let's end the show here. Ring Post Radio. That's it for the show. We'll have the podcast version up as soon as we can, probably next morning. What, you got something, Scotty?
Do you know we missed our match of the week last week?
I did realize that after we finished recording
in show history.
I realized that after we finished recording last week. I was like, oh no,
I remember 4 days later. I was like, wait a minute. I don't know why I thought of it.
I don't know.
I think I was trying to think of my match of the week.
That's probably true. Well, let's talk about it. Scotty, give the audience some plugs. Give the audience your match of the week.
Follow me at
God, he's dying.
Follow me at Scott E Wrestling on Twitter /X. And I don't think I have anything coming out right now. A lot of just coverage of Stardom if you want to hear me talk more about that show. Mm-hmm. Check out Stardom Road. Part 1 of the DDM episode is out now. We'll be moving to a more suitable YouTube format moving forward as well. So if you want to, for some reason, see me and Trent speak to each other like this, if you're watching live, just like this, actually, you can check that out on YouTube moving forward, starting with part 2, but that's not for another week or so. So do that. My match of the week is from CMLL, baby. It is Mystico and Brilliante Jr. versus Mascara Dorada and Neon from the finals of the tournament that they had that I don't remember the name of, but it was great. You just have
No,
that.
I did not write it down. I did not write it down. I thought I did.
I'll say it right now. The Gran Alternativa 2024.
Perfect. I saw you recommend that, and I was like, "Oh, gotta go watch that match."
It was a good time.
Yeah, CML is great, man.
Arena Mexico was feeling it.
I saw a thing that I was reminded about how CMLL Arena Mexico, they don't allow blood. If they see blood, they stop the match immediately. And I just thought of the Blackpool Combat Club, and I was like, "Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we're in trouble, CMLL. We're in trouble, Arena Mexico."
Hey, you want to know what's hilarious?
What's that?
Just because NXT is going on right now. Lola Vice, who has like the contract thing,
The Money in the Bank contract.
she
Gimmick?
cashed it in the middle of the match.
Is it now a 3-way?
Yeah, in the middle. Like,
So she's losing.
I have no idea. It's over. I can't figure out who won.
Well, I'll go to cage match myself, and let's see if we got.
Oh, here we go. I got it right here. I got it right here.
No one's updating it in Cage Match Live. I love it when Cage Match doesn't update live WWE events. What is it? What do we got? Did Lola Vice win the NXT Women's title? Breaking news from investigative journalist reporter Scotty Edwards.
They had Lyra Valkyria keep the belt.
I figured this was just a way for Lola Vice to lose that contract.
What is that's bad.
Great booking.
I'm not
Great
shocked.
booking, Sean.
Bad.
My plugs. Listen to Ring Post Radio wherever you get them. At Ryan Knightsey on Twitter. At Scott E Wrestling on Twitter. Follow the host show at Count It Pod. We have a bunch of other great shows like Stardom Road, like Scotty said. Your Dose of Death. The not aforementioned, but the at least currently still named Okada Shorts. New name pending. New name pending.
You know what they should change the name to?
What's that? I can pitch it to
Finley's Dogs.
I'll pitch it. I sent them a list. I sent them a list on Slack.
Tanahashi's hair.
They are, so I will say they do have concerns. They talked about it in the last episode of Okada Shorts, but they do have concerns naming it after another guy. Because number one, what if that guy leaves New Japan again?
Tanahashi's the guy, then the name.
Number two, they're like, what if like some guy turns out to be like a sex pest or something, or like a murderer?
They should name it Inokiism.
So I sent them a list of various things. I wrote a bunch of different things. I just realized I can't read the name. I just realized I can't change. I just realized I can't read any of these out loud. They're so bad.
They just not change the name.
No, they're going to. They've decided that they're going to.
You change the name of your podcast? I've never seen that before.
People have. Well, that we can't change ours. We're too locked in.
They should change it to Okada's contract.
They should change it to Bo-Kata's Shorts. My match of the week. They should change it to Yeet or No Yeet. My match of the week is from St. Louis Anarchy. St. Louis Indie Promotion.
What are you watching?
What do you mean I was watching? I'll tell you what I was watching. Gateway to Anarchy. This was January 26th of this year. This was a dog collar match between One Called Manders and Mad Dog Connolly. This was about 15 minutes, Scotty, and this match ruled. I gave it 4 stars. It was a bloody affair. It was hard hitting. It was the Indies, so you know for a fact that steel chain was real. It had moments of like the Ricky Starks Bryan Danielson match where they're whipping each other with the chain. You don't get to hear it as much as that strap you heard, but it's real bad to look at and real rough to hear still. Free on YouTube. So go check out Mad Dog Connolly versus one called Manders in a dog collar match. I gave it 4 stars. Highly recommend. Highly recommend, baby. Yeah, I think that's it. The other thing I'll plug is I'll have hopefully another new episode of The Ballot coming out this month. I have someone in mind for the episode, and we're just figuring out the scheduling of it, and it should be a very interesting guest. So that is it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. We'll be back next week. We'll be back next week on probably Monday again. Probably. We'll be talking about New Beginning Osaka. We'll be previewing Fantastica Mania, that tour, previewing Rev Pro High Stakes potentially if Scotty can make it through a Michael Oku match preview. We'll be reviewing NXT Vengeance Day. I don't know quite yet.
Fantastica Mania is where I'm locked into. So
yeah, that's where he's currently locked into. But as of right now, that's all we're really talking about. So we have a very interesting show next week as well. But until then, we went super long here, folks. We appreciate you, everybody. We appreciate everyone in the chat that spoke to us. We appreciate all of our listeners, all of our subscribers. And we'll see you all next week for Ring Post Radio. Goodbye, everybody.